Welcome to Master the Game. I am Juice, and we are going to do this live on stream. But I just got this box today. I have opened it. I have peeked. I'm sorry, I cheated. Please don't tell Santa on me because, you know. But either way, I'm going to go over it all with you guys on stream. And you can hear some of the stuff jiggling around. What could it be? So let's get into it. All right, so playing around with putting my intro into these live streams. Might have some other little video clips we use in future streams, just because I think it's fun. But yeah, so I'm really excited about this though. This is a huge box. It holds quite a few things. I did get pretty much everything on my list. My list was big though. I sent a huge list of like 28, 30 things. So yeah, I'm really happy. Okay, so when you open your box, you'll have newspaper. Whoa, I forgot I did dump my pencil shavings out right before this. Anyways, you'll get newspaper. It'll be packed in there really well. Now I gotta vacuum my desk. Dang. All right. I swear, guys, I got this all under control. Anyways, you'll get newspaper in there. It'll pack it in really well. The only issue I had is when this box shipped, when I got it, this side and this side were sealed. This was wide open on this side. You could reach in and grab some of these smaller things if you wanted to. And so I don't know if everything came or not. I'm pretty sure everything did. But there's a chance a couple things may have fallen out or been taken out. Now, the first thing when I opened it that I saw was the Riffs notepad. I always appreciate having a little pad of paper on my desk. I've got paper all over. When I do interviews with people, whether they're industry professionals or, just other YouTubers, or heck, when I'm running a game or DMing a game online, I like to have a pad of paper or sticky notes. I've got sticky notes here. I've got another one right there. So I've got them all over. So this is going to be pretty nice to have over here. And, the fact that it's Riffs themed just makes it pretty cool. So I'll put that up there for now. When you open the box, you're going to get some pieces of paper. One that talks about their promotion for the holiday grab bags. Or the Christmas grab bags, or the surprise packages, they're calling it. You're also going to get an ad for the new hardcovers that they have, which is really cool, by the way. And you're going to get a checklist, which I think is awesome. I need to go through and mark this one up. I don't have a recent one. I have old ones that don't include the newer products from the last 6 years. So I'll just go through and mark that up. New titles coming soon. And I'll read these in a little bit to you guys so you guys can at least get the gist of it. And then an advertisement for the Palladium Open House in April. So this will be in Westland, Michigan at their headquarters, their warehouse. And it's got 2 hotels that are both in Plymouth or West Livonia area, which is off of 275 and 96. And so when my wife and I got married, I think we stayed at the Red Roof Inn in Plymouth. So I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure we did. It was one of those two, because we actually got married in Plymouth, Michigan. And yeah. Anyways, so I'll go over this with you guys as well before we end this. Poster board. All right. And then we get into the good stuff that you guys want to know about. So right off the bat, there are these pencils that came in here as well. I got 5 of them. I don't know, again, if some of these fell out, because when I looked at the package on my porch, you could see the pencils, and it looked like they could have slid out of the gap very easily. So I don't know if any fell out. Hopefully not. My favorite is this Coalition States one. So I'm a fan of the Coalition. I understand they're evil. They do a lot of terrible things. They're racist against non-humans and things like that in the setting, and things like that. But I really enjoy playing those characters and having that gray morality a little bit. I like to play them, though, as being good and not wanting to slaughter, DBs and things like that. So I really like that pencil. Another one was City of Laszlo, the Council of Learning, and it's got a cool dragon logo on there. So that's a cool one. Let's see. There's Lone Star Complex, which has also got the Coalition skull on it. And it says Engineering the Future. So that's cool. Then there's the Chi-Town Library. Knowledge is Power. So in case you guys aren't familiar, the Coalition is based out of Chicago and Illinois, pretty much. They have some other places, but that's where the bulk of them is located. And then a Palladium Fantasy one, Library of Bletherad, and it says Your Source of Knowledge. So another cool pencil there. I did turn off the green screen so that I can show you guys things, because a lot of times if there's green in books, this was showing up kind of pixelated because it was wanting to think this was part of the green screen. So I did turn that off. But anyway, so I got some pencils now to add. The other cool thing I want to say about the pencils, and I'm a little too excited about pencils, to be honest, is that recently I made the switch back from using strictly mechanical pencils. I've used mechanical pencils for 15 years. I have not used normal pencils for the longest time. And something changed like within the last year where I went back to using good old number 2 pencils and sharpening them. I got an electrical sharpener right here on my desk, which is how I got pencil shavings all over the place. I hope I didn't get it in my water. Oh, I did. Did I get it in my other water too? I have 2 waters on my desk too. No, that one's good. All right, and that one's bad now. Damn. All right. So, anyways, so it's kind of cool that I got some pencils, and that's been a bigger deal. Zaramber says, "Oh, hi, you going to the open house?" I would like to. So my wife has a autoimmune disease. She's high risk, and with COVID going on, it's kind of put a damper on a lot of stuff for us. So we take it extremely seriously. We wear masks everywhere. We're both vaccinated. She's got her boosters. I'm waiting to get mine. There's a chance we won't make it, just for that fact. If I did go, I would probably have to quarantine afterwards, before kind of coming back into my house. So I don't know. Would like to, but we'll see. And I don't know if they're going to have any kind of like mask rules at the open house or anything like that. If they did, that would go a long way towards me going, though. So, but I know not everybody's for that, and it's their right to do what they want at their own open house. So the first book is one that I'm extremely happy I got. It was at the top of my list. I used to have Palladium Fantasy in the soft cover. I don't remember what happened. But anyways, so this was the first thing on my list, which if you guys watched the other video the other day, I had put this at the top, and I told everyone I wanted to get this and check out their new hardcovers. Now, this is a very light book. It's not super heavy for a hardcover. It's actually not that bad. It feels very good in my hands. Looking at the stitching and the binding, it looks like it's a pretty good binding there. You can see right there. It looks like it's actually stitched in there, if I had to guess. When you open it, you got the beautiful first edition Palladium Fantasy cover art, which is gorgeous. I really like that. That's kind of cool how they did that and put it in here like that. So I approve. I like that. Yeah, it's nice. So I'm gonna definitely go over this. We will be doing a review of these specific books. I would like to take the time and do full series of reviews for specific Palladium books. And I'm not sure how feasible that is. I don't own everything. I don't even have the whole Palladium line, unfortunately, the Palladium Fantasy line. I used to have the whole line up until 2015, I think. Since then, I think Garden of the Gods has come out, and the Byzantium Empire. Those two have come out since then, I think, for the Palladium Fantasy line. And so I'm missing quite a few, though. So I'd like to eventually get around to doing that. But yeah, so this, again, I'm really excited about this. It's really nice. Yeah. So I'm going to read this again. I used to play Palladium Fantasy with a couple, 10, 12 people that lived out in Livonia in some apartment. We used to pack up their living room and play. In fact, I remember my first session with them. I was in like a slaver cage, and we were heading through like the Mount Nimro region, or down where like the Old Ones book takes place, somewhere in that area. And I remember the cage, the slavers opened the cage, and my character jumped out at them or something. I don't remember exactly what I was playing though. I probably have the character sheet over on my shelf. But yeah, so we'll be going over this book, and I'll give you guys a review, my thoughts, opinions. We'll also probably do a flip through on this. So yeah, so that's the first book I pulled. The second book, speaking of which, is Garden of the Gods. So I'm going to read the back. You know what? I didn't read the back of the first book. Let me read the back of the first book. Palladium Fantasy RPG, the revised second edition hardcover. Over 25 occupational character classes, including the Mind Mage, I can't ever say this, Diabolist, Summoner, Wizard, Paladin, Knight, Ranger, Thief, Longbowman, Priest, Monk, and others. Over a dozen player races, and many more optional characters. One of the most comprehensive, diverse, fun, and playable magic systems ever devised. Over 300 magic, wizard, and warlock spells. 60 wards and 50 magic circles, plus mystic symbols and the fictional rune language. The alchemist and magic weapons, rune weapons, potions, fumes, scrolls, curses, and more. Psionic powers and psychic characters, demons, giants, fairy folk, and more. World information, historical timeline, and epic adventure. Game master and player tips, compatible with the entire Megaverse, 336 pages, a complete role-playing game compatible with the entire Palladium Megaverse. So this, by the way, is a $40 book if you buy it from their website. They do have the price right there, $39.99. So the one thing I also want to say about this is I believe it has everything you need in here to play. This picture, by the way, is of one of Kevin's gaming groups that had 26 people that he used to run games for down in Detroit at the old gaming center down there. So they're called the Defilers. So yeah, that's pretty cool. That's really cool. I just quickly want to see. Yeah, so there are monsters in here. So that's cool. So you could just buy this book and you have everything you need to play. You could do a campaign or whatever. Now, I do have like Monsters and Animals over there, which is another softcover book that gives you more monsters. It has the specific regions the monsters are in, like showing in the map there, and it kind of highlights them. But yeah, so there's plenty of stuff in here to get you started. Now, the one thing about this, you can play a changeling. However, the thing about this setting that I don't think people always realize going into it is changelings are considered evil, untrustworthy. They are probably the most despised race you can play as a player character. So just something to keep in mind. So yeah, that's the first book. The second book, like I said, is Garden of the Gods. So I don't know anything about this book. I did look at, I think it was this one and Byzantium, or it was one or the other, at Gen Con 50 back in 2017. I remember being at Gen Con, and I wanted to talk to Kevin. He was tied up with talking to a bunch of other people because he's a pretty busy guy. But I remember looking at it there, and I thought it was cool. Byzantium, I think, had like a bunch of something new to their books that they hadn't done before, and it put like a border. So even though their books are all black and white, it had like a border that was like a really cool thing in that I hadn't seen in any of their books before. So Garden of the Gods, a Palladium Fantasy source book. The Garden of the Gods source book is a toy box of gods, magical blessings, ancient artifacts, and hundreds of opportunities and adventure ideas for players and game masters alike. The Garden of the Gods is said to be a place of miracles and wisdom, a place where people of all occupations and races, nobility, and the poor come to find inspiration, blessings, and adventure. Many insist the gods themselves are present and may visit heroes and followers in dreams, visions, or in person as an avatar. The gods also look for champions and assign heroic quests and gifts of knowledge and magic. Here, all gods are equal, and many a forgotten god seeks to be rediscovered and worshipped by offering blessings, vision quests, and magical artifacts to potential heroes to champion their name. There is also an evil on the island of Lopan, an open wound in the earth known as the Black Pit. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that was added in here. 212 blessings, 101 magic artifacts, 45 forgotten gods, 50 plus curses and dark magic, 100 random quests and encounters, and each god offers adventure hooks. Restore forgotten gods to power. Become a champion of the gods. 5 weapons of destruction created by the old ones. Godly insight, visitations, knowledge, and purpose. The Garden of the Gods and its protectors. Ghosts, fairies, mysteries, and ancient secrets. Rumors of a secret way to the land of the damned. The Black Pit, a place of legend and dark secrets. Is it a counterbalance to the good of the garden or something more sinister? Easily adapted to Rifts, Phase World, and any game system. 224 pages of wonder and adventure by Kevin Siembieda and Matthew Clements. One game, one system. So this one goes for about $27. And yeah, it looks pretty nice. So on the back, they always put like a book or two that they advertise. So I used to have Dragons and Gods. I do not have it anymore. I believe this one actually has some of the old ones in it. It could be wrong. That might just be literally the old ones book that I'm getting mixed up, which I have the old one and the newer revised version of that. So yeah, this is interesting. So again, I have not read anything about this. Haven't even looked at this book yet. This is gonna be a fun read, I can tell you that. The thing you'll find too with a lot of Palladium books is there's a lot of hooks and ideas for just running things almost right out of the book. Like, oh, all these adventure hooks. What'd they say? Random encounters and adventure hooks. Yeah, 100 random quests and encounters, and each god offers adventure hooks. So again, this one's a $27 book. The first one I had in here was $40. So that would have put us at $67 plus the pencils and the paper. And I've got at least 2 more books in here. So you can already see I'm over the value of what I paid. So the Christmas grab bags, amazing value. I spent $58 plus shipping, I think total of $65. Shipping is $7 because I'm in Michigan. I think the most you'll pay for shipping is like $15. But you get a ton of stuff, right? I'm already at like 560 pages of content here too. It's a lot of reading. And in my opinion, one of the best things about these books, it's not so much the system. While I enjoy the system and I like to play it, the lore of their settings and things like that, and the adventure hooks and encounters and that for me is far more interesting about these books. And they're just fun to read. Questing GM says, never had a Palladium book before. Do they ship overseas? They do ship overseas. I believe it gets kind of expensive. So if you do the grab bag, obviously it's going to cost you about $58 plus shipping. And you're going to get over $100 worth of product probably. You probably get 4 or 5 books, maybe only 3 or 4 books, just depends. They'll put in like some smaller things in there too, maybe some magnets, bookmarks, maybe a miniature to, who knows. But they'll put in some stuff to kind of make it worth it as well. And I would recommend asking for the Palladium Fantasy core book. If you're thinking about doing some Palladium stuff and you like fantasy, I would think about doing this. I would also think about doing the Rifts core book, which I do have that over here as well, which is this one. And if you like superheroes, First of all, they made TMNT. They don't have the IP anymore, so you won't see them selling that. But if you like superheroes, you could also ask for Heroes Unlimited, and you can get the hardcover version of this, which again I would definitely recommend. If you're gonna get something like this, though, try to get the Powers Unlimited 1, 2, and 3. They might have those as PDF online, because there's a good chance you won't get all 3 with plus this inside your grab bag. But yes, Heroes Unlimited is awesome. I'm actually going to be doing a one-shot of Heroes Unlimited on Black Friday. That's the plan. So if anybody's interested and you guys order a grab bag, let me know on my Discord, and we will see what we can do about getting you in there on Black Friday. Yeah, there's some interesting things on here. I don't know. There's something that says safe birth, whatever that is. I don't know. It says blessings of the lost gods, so I'm assuming these are all blessings, although they're scattered out through pages, so I don't know. I'm not sure. Lost goblin gods, orc gods, canine gods. Oh, so that's the other thing that's really important in the fantasy setting, is they have canine races called the Wolfen, and they're a pretty big, pretty important race in their setting. They have your typical elves, humans, dwarves, orcs, things like that. But the important races, there's like, again, those. But then you also, again, have like the Wolfen, Changeling, who are basically the most evil, untrusted race in the setting. And if you read a lot of the books and you get to know the lore, you'll understand more about why. They have Titans, which I think are called something else. They might not be called Titans. But yeah, they're basically like 9 foot tall humans. That are, yeah, they're worth it. There's great stuff in the setting. Yeah, this looks great. This is a cool book. Sorry, I'm really enamored by this one just because this is one I've definitely never had before. I had Palladium Fantasy before, so that one, while not making me go, ooh, that was number 1 on my list, this one I'm really excited to dive into and read and do a review on. So like I said, I'm going to do reviews of all of these and some of my older books. The next one is Mutants Down Under. So this does go along with the TMNT book. On the back it says 30 new mutant animals, giant mutant insects, adventures, and more. So this is normally a $10 book. It is very thin. It's about 50 pages. The back does not have an advertisement, so this is a really old one. You can tell the art style. These also look a little bit like Ninja Turtles, even though they're not. They do look like it a little. You got like a koala, kangaroo, some kind of, I don't know if it's a rat. Probably mice, rats, wolves. I don't know. You can also tell when you open the book, it's an older book. But this is a cool one. I don't have the After the Bomb series. The cover was done by Kevin Eastman, who is the artist of the TMNT comic books. So yeah, that's really cool. Third printing, April 1990. Yup. Very, very cool. And if you don't know how this stuff works with creating mutant animals, is you take a base animal and you get so many what they're called bio-E points, and you spend these bio-E points to make them more human-like. Like if you want to change their hands to be more like hands, or if you want to make them stand upright, and there's varying degrees of how upright you want them. Same thing with their feet. If they have like a prehensile tail, all these things you buy with your bio-E points to make your animal character the way you want them. So they could be a full-on animal, or they could be basically a humanoid version of the animal by spending these points. It's actually a really nice system, the way that works. Most people I know who have ever played like TMNT and Other Strangeness, or After the Bomb, or even Heroes Unlimited and created an animal character, most people agree that they did a really good job with the bio-E points. So that is something that you can definitely take away from this. An emu, a lizard. Yeah, this is cool. I like it. I like it. So you can see the art style of this book. Again, this is an older book. They still do with the 2-column format of their newer books. And still, again, they're still black and white. The paper in this, you can tell, is that older paper as well. Or different than what they use now. But yeah, that's cool. There's another piece. Full page piece. Airship rules. Nice. I love it. Cool. All right. Next up is a Riffs book. So this one is Palladium Books presents Riffs World Book 10, Juicer Uprising. So if you guys have watched my videos where I talk about Riffs in the past, you know that I think the Juicers are the most OP class in all of Riffs. In my opinion, they're better than the Dragon character class that you can play. Yes, you can be a full-fledged dragon, a younger dragon, that, again, levels up, and as you level up, you become a bigger dragon. But yeah, to me, Juicers are the most powerful class in Riffs. Now, Palladium Books presents Riffs World Book 10, Juicer Uprising. New types of Juicer OCCs, including the Hyperion Speed Demon, the mysterious Mega Juicer, the giant super strong Titan, the Mega Damage Dragon Juicer, dependent on the blood of dragons to sustain his powers, Phaeton, Psycho Stalker, and others. The Juicer OCC developed and expanded the motivations behind these suicidal warriors and the process and effects of being juiced, completely described. Juicer wannabes, side effects, quirks, and insanity. New Juicer armor, weapons, and equipment. The Prometheus treatment. Immortality for the Juicers or another coalition lie? More world information about North America, Newtown, Fort El Dorado, death cults, and hints of things to come. Written by C.J. Corella with concepts by Kevin Siembieda. 160 pages of epic adventure. So we're looking at like 800 pages of content here, I believe. When I look at this. So 50, 160, that's 210, 224, that's 440, whatever. And 336. So yeah, you're looking at over 700 pages of content for $58 plus shipping. Where are you going to find that value elsewhere in something this deep that you can use for a variety of games? Yes, mostly you're going to use it with the Palladium system, but you can port these things over to other games. Palladium is a crunchier system if you're not familiar. It does have a lot of rules that some of which I hand wave. I play a more Palladium light at my table where the rules are secondary to what we're doing at the table usually. I do not play it rules as written, and I like it that way. With that, again, I'm excited about this book. Juices are my favorite thing to play in Riffs. And you can see here you got a Juicer who is basically fighting a bunch of people. There's a dead coalition guy right here with the old armor, I believe. Yeah, I think this is the old coalition armor. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So you can see the little tubes. So a Juicer is somebody who is normal by all means, and they are hooked up to drugs that basically they run these pipes into their system, and it's just the greatest drugs you can think of that make you a super soldier. You're super strong, extremely fast. Your reflexes are through the roof. All this stuff. However, it makes you crave, thrills, and you do crazy stuff just to keep your heart rate up and to just keep all this going on constantly. Your attention span is really quick, but you're always like hyper focused, hyper into everything. You're very perceptive. You're basically excellent at anything physical when it comes down to it. And the downside is from the day you get on the juice, you have about 5 years to live. before basically your body is like, look, you burnt us out and we do not work anymore. So again, it's a very cool class, and I love it. I'm excited to look into this one. I've never owned this one, and yeah, it's pretty cool. 2008, 5th printing. Yeah. Anyways, if you guys have questions, feel free to ask. I will happily answer them. I have run, I think back in April, was it this year? I think it was April this year. I did run a one-shot where we did have a juicer. We had a Techno Mage, a Elemental Fusionist, I think. Or I'm sorry, Techno Wizard. An Elemental Fusionist or something like that. A Glitter Boy. It was a lot of fun. And I used my house rules for Palladium for that. Where I basically give everyone pretty much the same amount of attacks. And it's just a stripped down version of the system. And it worked out pretty well. Which you can see on this channel. If you want to go check it out, just go in to my channel and go to my videos and search for riffs. And it should be one of the first things you'll find. Yeah, this is cool. I like it. Like I said, I'm running a Heroes Unlimited one-shot Black Friday. I'm going to probably try to make characters with people in concept a week beforehand. If anyone's interested in playing in that, you got to head on over to my Discord. I am going to offer it up to patrons first. But if you want to play in that, again, you can become a patron. I offer it there first. And then secondary after that is on my Discord. And that's if I don't have a full game from patrons. So, which is a possibility. Last time I think it was all patrons pretty much. So yeah. And we're, like I said, we are going to do more Palladium book stuff in the future. I'd like to get the rest of the Palladium Fantasy books and review them individually on a one-by-one basis as I read through them. And we'll do flip through Fridays of Palladium books and all of that. And if you want to see Riffs stuff, if you're a Riffs fan, let me know. I do not have a ton of Riffs books. I have the core book, I have the Game Master book, I've got a few others like Riffs England, but I don't have a ton of Riffs books. But if there is a demand for people that want to see Riffs content on YouTube, whether it's reviews, whether it's tips, whether it's house rules, whether it's my own custom creations or whatever, again, I'm happy to give you guys what you want as fans of the channel, as fans of Palladium books. Palladium books is my first love. It's the very first tabletop RPG I ever got into. And the thing that was really cool is that when I was 12, and I've told this story 1,000 times, but I want to talk about it again. And the reason I want to talk about it is because the person who got me into tabletop RPGs watched my last video when I was ordering the grab bags and asked me if I still had the book he gave me when I was 12 years old. And I do. He gave me this book. I made my first character with him, which was a glass alien from Heroes Unlimited. And I still remember he had like Sting's face paint. I believe my mom took me to Rider's Hobby, where we bought this book. It was $21 at the time. This was 1997, summer of 97. My very first character was an alien from this book. And we made characters. My friend also decided to play with us. He made I want to say, special training character. I'm pretty sure it was a special training character that then was, or no, it was not special training. It was physical training. And he ended up being like a government project that they worked on and made him, and he had like a gun in his arm, had some other gizmos that were put into him. He was super fast, super strong, agile. But yeah, so this was my very first book I ever owned, thanks to Doug, who commented on my last video. And then I bought this, and the rest was history. Now, I didn't play another tabletop RPG outside of Palladium until 2010. So for 13 years, I was strictly Palladium. I didn't see the reason to try other games. And I probably robbed myself of some experience by doing that. But at the same time, I got to know the system. I got to know what I liked and didn't like about the system. And then when I started trying other systems, it definitely opened my eyes to a lot of ways you can play games and things like that. And it was only for the better. And again, I still love this game. I still have a sweet spot for it. And I always will. Always will. That will never change. So yeah, Doug, if you are watching this one as well, it's right here. I still have it. I think it's in the exact same condition as when I got it from you. I've got a character I made for it named Grinder, a coyote auto mechanic. We played this with a couple of the guys from Nerdarchy, an old friend named Andrew, who I don't really talk to anymore. We also played with a couple other people. And it was a really fun session. It was hilarious. But yeah, I enjoyed that. That's not on this channel, though. I want to say that's not on YouTube anymore. But yeah, this book is in the same condition, I think. Same watermark that it always had, that you gave it, Doug. And this, I think you had told me you had got it in the 80s. So this book is almost as old as me, if not the same age as me. I don't know. I'm 36. No, it says 1990. 11th printing 1990. So it's almost as old as me. It's over 30 years old. All the pages are in it. No rips. Just some of the curling like you get from a lot of use of Palladium books. You'll get this little peel. That's normal. But again, they have hardcover books now that they're starting to do more of. And I hope they keep doing that. Again, if you want to get into the Heroes Unlimited game, which I highly recommend, I think Heroes Unlimited, if you like superheroes, it gives you all the depth you need in a superhero RPG. You're going to be able to play any type of character you can think of. The downside is, like, if you want a character that's as strong as Superman, for example, there is no way to do that. Like, the strongest character in it cannot lift the same amount that Superman can. But you could give your character all of the powers, including like superhuman strength, and there's different tiers of the strength. I don't worry about that. Again, that's something I usually hand wave anyway. Other than like the damage and bonuses to like your PS and stuff, I kind of hand wave the strength stuff after a point. But you can make them all if you have the 3 Powers Unlimited books. These, at the time I got them, these were in grab bags. I got it as a Christmas present, though, I think from my sister and my wife, because we were playing Heroes Unlimited together back in like 2010 and 11. These were $17 then. They might be $20 now. I don't know what they are on the website. Again, ask for them in your grab bag. And I would definitely recommend asking for this in your grab bag as the hardcover. And because you cannot get Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles anymore, ask for the After the Bomb hardcover book. That will give you the rules for creating animal characters. I believe this book does too, but it's not as extensive. Let me double check. I got this book in 97 too. This was the revised version of the Blue Heroes Unlimited book. And I got this like 8 months after I bought that other one. So let me look and double check. Pretty sure this has the animals. I know the blue one does. Creating Mutant Animals, 162. It does have it. Let me see how extensive it is. It's not going to be as deep, but it should be, again, it should be pretty much the same. So Creating Mutant Animals is in here. I believe it's under Mutants. So you go Mutants, and then you go, yeah. So Mutants, and then a couple pages into the Mutants class, because that's how they do this. It's a class-based system. You then get into the Creating Mutant Animals. And you're going to have what are called Bio-E points, and you can spend those to evolve your character. So that's step 5. Before that, though, you'll have things like the animal type, and you're meant to create characters in Heroes Unlimited with random percentile rolls. I've always allowed my players to choose, come up with a concept, and then we build a character like that and ignore some of the percentile tables. To me, this makes it more fun for the players because now they get a choice, and it makes it more fun for me too. So I like it when people come to the table with a concept for their hero. But yeah, so you got that. So then with your BioE points, you'll look at a size chart of your animal. And then you can, depending on the size, that tells you how many BioE points you have and things like that. So that is a more complex video for another day. If you guys want to see again me do a video on how to create mutant animals in Heroes Unlimited, let me know. Okay, I'm going to let you guys, the fans, guide me in what you want to see when it comes to Palladium Books on this channel. But we are going to do it. You might see blog posts about these things in the future as well over on my website at right now it's rpgjuice.com. However, we are probably going to change that soon. So if you're seeing this later, it's no longer rpgjuice.com. It will be masterthegamerpg.com. So yeah, we will be rebranding that. Very nice. Very nice. So yeah, if you guys haven't, again, go get your Christmas grab bag. $58. I got 700 plus pages of content that I'm going to be reading and enjoying every minute of it. The only one I probably won't read real in depth is probably this one. You know, it's a book I wanted, mostly because, again, I want all the SDC stuff. I am an SDC fan. I like their Heroes Unlimited. I have all the Heroes Unlimited books. I don't have the second edition of Villains or Aliens. I have the first edition of both of those. But you don't get a ton of new things in the second edition, like the revised version of them. So I haven't dove in yet for those. I don't have, this is my first After the Bomb book, so I need to get the rest of those. But yeah, so I want to get all of those, complete the collection, and then I should probably go online and see about eBay and get like Turtles in Hollywood and the actual TMNT line, so I have all of those. I know I was talking to O'Neill Flynn, who played as the Glitter Boy in our Rifts game back in April. I was talking to him on my Discord, and he was saying I don't know if he ordered it or if he was going to order it, but TMNT, if you want that book and Other Strangeness, you can get it from Kevin Eastman for about $45 on his eBay, I believe. You can also find it just in general on eBay for $50-$60 now. Just a couple years ago, it was like $20 on eBay. So it's going up in price. So if you guys want to get your hands on a TMNT book, now's the time, because it hasn't been out in a long time. So Nathan says After the Bomb is pretty fun, though. For sure. You know, like I said, I like the idea of playing in an all-animal setting. That's kind of cool. But I mostly just want it to have it at this point, and because I love the SDC games. The MDC, I'm thinking about coming up with my own house rules for handling MDC, but I'm totally fine with that. Could I show you any of the trinkets I received? So yes. So I did get this little notepad. In the past, I've gotten magnets. I loved the magnets I had a few years back. I had a Dead Rain one, a Palladium Fantasy one, and I want to say like a Rifts Chaos Earth magnet, and a Heroes Unlimited magnet. So I had all four of those, that I think we moved and I lost them. Like I left them at the thing. I don't think I have them anymore. And the thing that sucks is I collect magnets. I have a metal door since my game room's on the other side of my garage. Unheated, unfortunately, and I live in Michigan. But I love putting magnets on the back of this door. So if anyone out there doesn't want their Palladium magnets, I will happily take them off your hands. But yeah, so I got this Rifts notepad, which is invaluable for me as somebody who plays games online and, you know, stuff like that. I interview a bunch of creators and stuff sitting right here. I also got 5 pencils, which I was more excited than most people I think would be. City of Laszlo. I got the Lone Star Complex pencil. I got the Chi-Town Library, knowledge is power. And I got Library of Bletherad, and it says your source of knowledge. That's their Palladium Fantasy thing. These are all riffs, and then this one is also for riffs. This is Coalition States, and it says Office of the Emperor. So this one I really love. But yeah, I got pretty excited about the pencil. So that's what I got. Grab bags are completely random, and that is not true. So Nathan, I did do a video on ordering a grab bag. If you want to go check it out, I just put it up the other day. So you give them a list. You need to put at least 10 products you would like to get in one of the fields. Now, don't feel restricted in what you type in those fields. I'll show you guys what I did. Just a moment here. I have, let's see, where did I save it? Is it it might be in my downloads folder. I'm gonna show you guys exactly what I did, but you guys can go watch that video where I explain it a little better. I got an invoice. I'll use this one. How's that look? Okay. Yeah, okay. So I'll do this, and then let me share my screen with you. There we go. Okay, so is that everything? That is everything. Okay, so here we go. So on here, when you go to fill it out on the website, it's not going to look like this. But when you go on the website, and I'll show you that in a minute too, you'll fill out what you want. Now, you're supposed to come up with a list of 10 things. I decided to just make a list of everything I wanted. I started with the thing I wanted the most at the top, down to the bottom with the thing I wanted the least. And I didn't put every single book they have. I just put the ones that I wanted. So I want everything on this list. So the very first thing was Palladium Fantasy. I got Palladium Fantasy. Boom. The second thing I got was Garden of the Gods. That's also what I got. So I was really happy with that. I did not get Byzantium. In fact, I put all Palladium Fantasy at the top. So Wolf and Empire and up is all Palladium Fantasy. Then it jumps into After the Bomb, because again, I want to finish out the SDC stuff. I got the one book, Mutants Down Under, which again was down on my list. It was like third, but that's still cool. I'm still happy about that. And then the last one I got is actually, it's my second Rifts book on here. Chaos Earth is its separate setting of Rifts. It's like the very early Rifts as it's happening kind of thing, before like magic and everything has really tore the world apart. And that was the first one. I wanted the hardcover. But then Juicer Uprising, because Juicer is my favorite class in Rifts. So got that. So I'm really happy with what I got. Now, I also listed Rifters and things like that. Rifters are compilation books of mostly, it used to be, and I don't know if it's still this way. I never really pay attention to who writes what articles usually. But they're articles, they're written in smaller books like this, you know, a little bit bigger than this, like usually 80 to 100 pages, I think. And it'll have stuff for all their game lines. It'll have homebrew stuff by people who have submitted their homebrew stuff. It'll have official stuff that they've added that wasn't big enough for a book or didn't have a place in any of their current projects. It'll have fiction where people have written stories. It'll have Q&As. So I went through and I looked at the different Rifters they were providing, and I read what was in the table of contents. These, I can tell you right now, have Palladium Fantasy stuff, Heroes Unlimited stuff. So that was how those ended up on my list. Oh, my hands are really dirty right now. Might be from that newspaper earlier. So then it asks you a few other questions. You have a few different fields, but you're supposed to put 10 things. I put like 30 different things. So I went above and beyond what they want you to do. And I got everything from my list. Whereas if you do 10 things, you might get 2 things from your list. So yeah, so then I said, this is probably the order of what I would prefer, fingers crossed. And I'm pretty happy with that. It asks you if you want shirts. I said no. It says, what are your favorite game lines? Heroes Unlimited is my favorite, followed by Palladium Fantasy, and then Rifts. I'd like to try Chaos Earth. Autographs, no. I did mention I have a YouTube channel, and I said I would like to interview them. Speaking of which, guys, if if you want to see these things, I have an interview coming up on the 15th with Sean Robertson. He is the new creative director at Palladium, and he is also a partner of Palladium Books. So I will have him on here Monday, November 15th at 8 p.m. Eastern. So if you guys want me to ask particular questions to him, send me a message on Discord, preferably a private message, and we will get those questions asked. If you have questions about the future of Palladium, specific products, Savage Rifts, he's the lead designer on Savage Rifts Revised right now. He also still works for Pinnacle. I think he's the line editor or something over there. It'll be simulcast to the Pinnacle Twitch, but you'll want to watch it here, right? On YouTube, right? Support me. Head on over here and watch it that night. We will be talking to him November 15th. In January, we might have something set up with Kevin. We're going to see how things go through the holiday season, but we've talked about doing something, an interview with him as well. So that will be coming down the line. So then it asks you, though, like anything you want to try, yada, yada, your favorites. So then I mentioned these. I mentioned that I had the full Palladium Fantasy collection. I don't anymore. And yeah. So then I went again, another step that most people I know don't do this. I mentioned my full collection of Palladium books right here. So I'm going to have to add to this, the new books I got. But here's all the Rifts books I have. Ultimate Edition, which is right here. And I was reading this recently, so that's why it's right next to me. My books are on the other side of this 23-foot room. So it's kind of funny that I just had that sitting here. The GM Guide, Rifts Dark Conversions, Machinations of Doom, and Rifts England. Palladium Fantasy, I have High Seas, book 2 old ones, the first edition and the second edition book. I have book 6, Island at the Edge of the World, which is only a first edition book. They never ported that over to the revised. Mount Nimro, Mysteries of Magic, book 1, Monsters and Animals. So that's my full Palladium Fantasy collection. But now I can add these two. So I'm pretty excited to have the hardcover and Garden of the Gods. And then obviously I would technically consider this under Heroes Unlimited. So Mutants Down Under is where that's going to go. And then under Rifts, I'll put Juicer Uprising. So now I've got those. I mentioned all the Heroes Unlimited books I have, which is pretty much every single one. Compendium of Contemporary Weapons, the GM's Guide, Century Station, Gramercy Island, Mutant Underground, Galaxy Guide, Aliens Unlimited, Villains Unlimited. Both those two are the first edition, though. I don't have the second edition or revised edition. Heroes Unlimited, the white cover, which is the newest cover. I do want to get that in hardcover eventually because I do play Heroes Unlimited whenever I can. I have the blue cover, not the original, but the revised blue cover. So, yeah. And this book, I love this book because of the equipment. I still use this because of the equipment. The newest one, the white cover one, does not have the amount of equipment. The equipment in this book there's a ton. So, yeah, I still use that. And in fact, if you guys can get the blue one, I recommend it just for the equipment. That's really all you're going to use it for if you decide to use it. Or you can just collect it. TMNT and Other Strangeness, Powers Unlimited 1, 2, and 3, Armageddon Unlimited, Mystic China, Ninjas and Super Spies. That was what I was trying to think about when I was talking to my friend last night. I was talking to him about the different forms of martial arts. It's got like 40 or 50 like different hand-to-hand styles in that book. And the hand-to-hand combat in Palladium is based on your fighting style. Like when you level up, that's one of the things that levels up. Like you'll get more attacks. You'll get better parry, dodge, different combat maneuvers and attacks. So yeah, having that book's kind of a big deal. Nightbane, Rifts, Heroes of the Megaverse, which is more of a Rifts book, but it talks about like heroes. And then I listed the Rifters I have, which again, I try to get Rifters that they cover Palladium Fantasy and they covered Heroes Unlimited, because those are the game lines I'm most interested in. I like Rifts. I just don't worry too much about like having it all because there's so much for Rifts. And like when it comes to riffs, the stuff I'm most interested in is like the Midwest, the United States, Canada, the stuff that happens like that is basically local to me. But the reason I like it is because I like the coalition storyline stuff. I like the idea of the Northern Gun stuff, the Citizix. I'm probably saying that wrong, but there's like these bug creatures in Canada called the Zitizix or whatever. Things like that. That's what I enjoy about the riff setting. So yeah, that's me weighing in on that, I suppose. So no, they're not completely random. I recommend including what your full collection is and then giving a list of 10 to 20 things you want. I like to put them in order because to me that makes it easier for them to go, oh, okay, he really wants like one of these top books. Okay, let's spread it out a little bit because I don't want to give you everything at the top of your list because then why would you buy another grab bag or why would you buy anything for a while? You know what I mean? So yeah. On Eastman's website, you can get TMNT. It's a limited supply he has. Okay. Does he have the GM screen? So I need to get the TMNT GM screen too. I would love to have the full Palladium collection. It's just not possible. I just don't have the money. So last night I found out my mom fell down and broke her hip at work. So she's off of work now and she had to have hip surgery. Actually, she broke her femur and she had hip surgery today within 12 hours of falling down. So it's been a crazy day. And her boyfriend has diabetes and just had his leg amputated at the knee. So they're hurting right now. But we'll see. And she lives 2 hours away from me, so there's not like I can do much. Seems like a steal as far as content is concerned. Dude, Nathan, it is 700 pages right here, not including the trinkets I got, right? 700 pages right here. I think the value, so this says $27, $40, so that's $67, plus 21 is 88, plus 10. So I'm at $98 just with this, not counting the pad of paper or the pencils, which again, I know not everyone get excited about that, but I'm pretty happy with that. I didn't ask for the paper or pencils, but I'm actually really excited about it. So again, if you guys get trinkets or something you don't want, send it my way. I'll be happy. Give you a shout out on my channel. Do an unboxing video. Do a live stream talking about it. Your Palladium collection is like way more than mine. I think I have like 3 books. Well, Nathan, now's your chance. Your books are in so much better condition than mine. Oh, I appreciate it, Rogue Scholar. So I am very anal about my books. I've had this book for 24 years. 24 years. And I got it pretty much in this condition, which Doug, who watched my last video, again, that was so cool that he watched that. He gave me this out of his own collection. I remember going over to his house. He had a crate, just a little milk crate full of his fantasy books. I think he had a bookshelf too. But I remember his crate had his Riffs books. And he had like Riffs Merctown and Merc Ops and Triax and this, Heroes Unlimited, Riffs, like a couple of the Riffs World books. I think like Vampire Kingdoms and maybe Riffs Africa and South America. I think he had all those in the milk crate. So, yeah. Kyle says, are you going... Oh, actually, hang on. Before I get to your thing, Kyle, I'll get to that here in 1 second. Yeah, same. Mine were bought used, so they were already written in. So I have bought some from eBay. I bought Century Station, which is highlighted and marked up by the previous owner. I think the same person, it was a book lot. So I got like 6 books. And it was Aliens Unlimited, Galaxy Guide, Century Station. I think something else, maybe a couple others. And all the books that he owned are in worse shape than this one when I got them. So, which is fine. It doesn't matter to me too much. But normally when I get books, I am super picky about how I handle my books and who touches them and how they handle them. If people are rough with my books, I will not let them use them. I'm not like mean about it. I'm just like, hey, everyone who plays with me in person knows I'm really, really anal about it. I'm fine sharing books, but for example, so I play a lot of D&D 5e. I have 4 players' handbooks. I have one that I put a sticker on the spine that says table copy. That is the only book I will willingly hand to people at my table. And there's a few reasons. The Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition books are just glued in, which means if you handle them a lot or roughly, the pages will fall out. So I'm very picky about that. But I've always been kind of anal about it. So again, I bought this in 97 as a 12-year-old. This book, I've created hundreds of characters. I have a binder over there this thick of characters I've created with this book and the white book that I also got. This I got Easter 98. Easter 1998, I got this book. And, it's still in good shape. No writing inside the book. I never write in my books. Another thing I don't do is I do not put a piece of paper in my book and then write on the book. So if I've got a page open and say I'm writing something from this side, I don't set a piece of paper here and write. I'll sit it on the table and write. I'm very picky about that stuff. And no, I don't usually eat Cheetos. You can tell where I handle this book. You can see the dirty part from oil from hands. But that's about it. It's just in the middle there. Because again, this is how I hold a book, right here in the middle. And so you can see it in this book too. Right in the middle is where you can see the handling of it. So, yeah. I'm very picky about that stuff, though. I can't help it. And I've used this book a bunch with a bunch of different gaming groups. I got a bunch of people into this. In fact, this book, more so than the other books, I've gotten more people into Palladium books with this than anything else. So, note to self, make photocopies of the turtles, of the Ninja Turtles stat blocks. You might even be able to find the sheets online somewhere. Make photocopies and hand them out to people and say, look, let's play TMNT. Here you go. And then if people are interested after that in creating their own characters and stuff, then do it. I told you guys I was going to read these. I'm going to read these in a second. This is everything that came with it. So I'm going to go through that here in a second. But yeah, I'm happy. I'm thrilled. Can you tell like I'm excited about this? This really is like Christmas, guys. Really is like Christmas for me. And now I got to rearrange my bookshelf again, which I actually enjoy doing. And I just did this weekend. But let me read some more. Rogue Scholar. Mine were new, most of them, but they were also written in and some colored in. My original Rifts book is the second printing and the cover is about to fall off, but these bindings are really good. These new, so I highly recommend buy Rifts Ultimate Edition hardcover. This binding is great. This was the other used book I got, actually. So this came with the Aliens Unlimited and stuff that I bought from that person, now that I think about it. But yeah, the binding's good. The only issue I have is, I don't know if it happened when they shipped it to me, but the corner got dinged. So the corners are dinged up. But this book is in perfect shape. It's not, the pages aren't falling out. I don't think there's any writing in here. I've got one sticky note for stuff. The really cool thing about getting this book is you got some colored art in here. You can see like the Terminator look of their Skelebats. These are Skelebats, in case you guys didn't know. I used those in my Rifts game back in April that I streamed. You got a bunch of Coalition stuff in here. This book has everything you need. Everything you need. If you want to get a monster book or like a monster manual to go along with it, I recommend Rifts Dark Conversions. To me, that has the best monsters. I don't have the Rifts Bestiary yet, Volume 1. I don't know if that includes monsters from that, but yeah. Here's the inside cover. That is Chi-Town. That's Chicago. So yeah. You can see Disaster Head Transport heading in there. That's cool. And then the back has Emperor Prosek and Coalition bringing in a DB to triumph for his crimes of being a DB, basically. Again, Coalition, their idea is they're trying to protect humanity from magic and from basically becoming extinct. So they have this attitude that they need to wipe out anything that's not human, for the most part. Now, they do have dog boys. I don't think there's any. Yeah, there's a dog boy here. Dog boys are basically dog humanoids that serve the Coalition. They use a couple things that are paranormal to help them, but for the most part, they are pretty racist against anything non-human. And so it's easy to make them the villains because of that. However, I like to play where they aren't necessarily evil. You know, like I like to play that they are trying to protect humans, and some of them don't even want to kill DBs. Like I've loved the idea of playing a coalition group or a ex-coalition soldier. I've done that too, where I'll use coalition soldier, but I tell the GM I want him to be ex-coalition. So like, can we have him like paint his armor and stuff like that? And I've always been allowed to. And in fact, I played with Julian, who works for Palladium Books, at the Westland Library a few years back with my wife. I want to say like 7 years ago. And I played this. He had a pre-gen for one, and that actually has become the one I use instead of the one I used before. And so I'm an ex-coalition soldier all the time when I play. That's one of my favorite things. I either do that or a juicer. So yeah. All right. So then O'Neill Flynn says, I'm thinking of ordering another. You should do it. I recommend it. It's a great way to get more books for your collection if you're a Palladium fan. And again, they're really well priced. I wish I could order another one right now. I really do. Unfortunately, I can't. Nathan says, I'm in. I think this will get me more into Palladium. Just what I've played previously. I do love the system. There's some issues I have with it, but still love it. So again, I play Palladium Light. I don't use it rules as written. If you're interested in seeing what I do with it, I will send you access to my Google Drive, where I have made my own pre-gens. And in my pre-gens, I have what I call a crib sheet, or basically a help sheet at the end, and that's the rules I use. Because to me, that's the way I like to play. I like to play rules light. And I mean, you guys know if you watched my video where I was talking about the announcement with Sean coming in charge, and if they ever do revise the system, what I want. I want a lighter system, something that's easier to bring new people into, and it's not quite as overwhelming. And to me, like, while you can do a lot of things and there's a lot of actions and a lot of attacks, I've never used most of those things in my games because there's no reason to half the time, you know? So, yeah. Same thing with the skills. I don't like how many skills there are and how skills are done. Percentage, I like using percentiles for skills. I just think a solid condensed list that can be on every character sheet. If you can't fit it on a character sheet, it's too many skills. So, Kyle says, are you going to the Palladium open house? So I had said earlier, my wife is immunocompromised. She has an autoimmune disease. And so probably not. It would require a few things. I've got my vaccine. My wife does too. She has the booster. I haven't got my booster yet. So I need to get that. It would probably require a mask mandate. I don't expect that to happen at the open house. But yeah, so it would probably require that for me to go. Just because I got to protect my family. That's just what it comes down to. But I would love to go. I almost went a few years ago. I was invited. I almost went, and unfortunately, I couldn't make it. Rogue Scholar says, no Cheeto fingers. Yes, exactly. Or Doritos. I was always a Doritos fan. Rogue Scholar says, TMNT was the first RPG I ever played. It predates me playing D&D. Yeah, I didn't. So again, 97 was when I got TMNT from Doug. And I bought Heroes Unlimited, one of the blue book, not long after that, like maybe a month or so. And then bought it at Riders Hobby in Ypsilanti, Michigan on Carpenter Road. And then my mother, for Easter 1998, bought me the white cover, the Easter Bunny brought me the white cover that was also bought at Riders Hobby, which, you know, being a kid, I knew about those kinds of things. $24.95 at Riders Hobby there. But I always wonder when you see tags on things as a kid, what do you think of that? But yeah, so I got that in 98. I think I got Villains Unlimited shortly after that. Maybe even before getting that white book, to be honest. I don't remember. And that was what I had for the longest time. And then in 2010, I met my wife, moved in with her. Once I moved in with her, that's when I found out she was a gamer. we didn't know that we liked tabletop RPGs until we moved in together. She was an AD&D fan. She had a few of the books. She also had some 3.5 books. And I had my Heroes Unlimited books. And so we got each other playing each other's games, and the rest is history. I got really into D&D and Pathfinder, and yeah, that was just that's what happened. So yeah. All right, so let me take a drink and then I'll read some of this. Ooh. You can tell I've been talking for a while. All right, 2021 Christmas surprise packages. So this is basically everything on the listing on the website. So I'm not going to reread this, but it does put down a lot of things here that you can ask for. So a lot of stuff on here tells you to put at least 12 to 15 items that you're interested in. Do not put I own everything, surprise me. Put 12 to 15 items at minimum, okay? I cannot stress this enough. I just showed you guys earlier what I did. I provided my whole list of the books I own, and then I made a list of 30 books in order that I wanted. So there's options to get shirts and other cool stuff too. But yeah, so that came with it. The next one is new hardcover editions of most core rule books. Boom. Front and back. So then they also have the original. So the original Rifts now is in hardcover, but they have the Rifts Ultimate Edition in softcover now. So if you actually want that in a softcover book, you can get it. It doesn't say it on here about that, I don't think. That's what I'm trying to find real quick. It doesn't, though. I do need to get the hardcover Heroes Unlimited book. I really do. Okay, so many of you have been asking for hardcover editions of our core rulebooks. Well, I have finally found what appears to be the right printing partner to make your requests a reality. Most of these hardcover RPG books are exactly the same as the softcover edition you may already own and use. Even the color covers are basically the same art with changes to the logos to differentiate them from the soft covers, which I believe the Rifts one is no longer white. I think it's, I want to say it's like a blue. I don't know. I'll pull it up on the website here in a minute. Well, technically this is already a hardcover, but the old edition, they changed how it looks a little. It's like a bluish, I think. And then obviously Palladium Fantasy, instead of it being white, it's now yellow. And then I think this, rather than being gold, is blue, like a dark blue. So yeah, I think. Changes to the logos to differentiate them from the soft covers. The main difference is the rulebook is now available as a sturdy hardcover for longer durability. The softcover editions will also remain in print. We hope you are pleased to see these titles being made available in hardcover. Enjoy. I'm thrilled. I have wanted hardcover for the longest time. I knew it would cost more. I know that's the big reason why a lot of people like the soft covers. If they could, I would like to see every single Palladium book in hardcover. Every single one. So Palladium, if you're watching this, I'm going to tell you what I would like to see. I don't expect it to happen, but I would love if you would take it into account. So I would love this book in hardcover, which is fine. You did that. I would love more equipment put into this book, though, from, say, the blue book. Maybe adjust the pricing. I don't know, of the equipment. I would also love just taking the Powers Unlimited books, all three of these, and actually making these one solid hardcover and reorganizing them together so that it makes sense with the layout. Would love that. That would be perfect to have one core rule book with everything I need pretty much, and then the Powers Unlimited books as one solid hardcover book. I would pay $50 for that hardcover book of the Powers Unlimited books. I'm sure a lot of other people would too. I'm just putting that out there. It would also be cool. I know it's not possible because of the price of the TMNT deal, but it would be cool to get this again. It really would. A hardcover of that would be great. So yeah. And then yeah, I don't know. I just feel like holding that up. But yeah, so I would definitely go crazy over some hardcovers of all the books. Okay. So it then says the original Rift RPG 30th anniversary commemorative hardcover first edition rules. The original first edition Rifts rulebook that started a phenomenon expanded with bonus art and an extra 32 color pages, color end sheets, and history. So it looks like they would just use the original rules in that book and would not do the it would not be the rules from this book. So the one that they're showing here is the original rules, and that's what you'd be buying. So that's something to keep in mind. You would not get the most recent rules. It does give you more art in there and things like that, but is that just, again, I don't own it, so I don't know, but is it just the art that was added in here? I don't know. But it does say never before seen art in History of Rift, so that's kind of cool. So I guess it would be new art. So yeah, 288 pages, $50 retail. They have their Game Mastery Guide hardcover, and they have their Book of Magic hardcover. Both of those I don't have, so actually I should get those. Actually, I think I do have the Game Master Guide. It's just a soft cover. It doesn't look like they added anything to those. According to this, they didn't say they added anything. The Adventure Guide hardcover, which I don't believe I have that. I don't think I have that in soft cover. Hardcore Palladium Fantasy, which I now have, which I'm really excited about. Beyond the Supernatural, which I know a lot of people like that. I don't own that. I've never read it. I don't know a lot about it personally. But yeah. 14 psychic character classes, 42 occupation. Oh, that is Beyond the Supernatural. 100 plus psychic abilities, including Firewalker abilities, Creatures of Darkness, the Laszlo Agency, and more. It's 256 pages. So, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but isn't Beyond the Supernatural sort of like a Call of Cthulhu setting for Palladium? Again, please correct me if I'm wrong. The Heroes Unlimited hardcover. And then After the Bomb bonus edition hardcover. 72 pages of bonus material. So you do get new stuff. Original After the Bomb sourcebook and Yucatan Adventures it sounds like are included inside of that. So that's cool. Dead Rain RPG hardcover. So I used to have the soft cover. I think I actually traded that or sold that one actually, because I couldn't find people to play it at the time. That was back in like 2014 or 15. Ninjas and Super Spies, which would be cool to have as a hardcover as well, because again, I'm a Heroes Unlimited guy. So that would be awesome. Rifts Chaos Earth. That is a book that I want for sure. I do want to explore Chaos Earth a little bit. And then Nightbane bonus edition hardcover. Now, when it says bonus edition, does that mean they've added material? I think that's what that means. I'm pretty sure. There's more equipment in the Heroes GM guide. That's true. I do have that over there. And actually, when I create characters with players, we open it up to that skills section for them to write that down. I also use like the jail sentences and stuff from there, like for people who commit crimes. I use that out of there as well. Has some good adventures too. Beyond the Supernatural is my favorite Palladium RPG. Oh, okay. So tell us about it. Is it basically like Cthulhu for Palladium? Is that what it is? Is it like more suspense and horror than it is like combat and stuff? Is Ghostbusters meets X-Files meets Indiana Jones with a splash of Cthulhu thrown in? Gotcha. Okay. Interesting. So I'm going to have to, again, like I said, go in and fill out my checklist and order form. So that's cool. I love that they do that. And then new incoming titles. So the one thing I always tell people, if you're a Palladium Books fan or you're just new to it, do not get excited about anything coming soon from Palladium Books. Anything. Wait until It is legit at the printers. If it's not at the printers yet, do not bank on it. I say this as somebody who's had my heart broken and waited for things for a long time. Land of the Damned 3, for example, like Book of Magic 2 and 3, lots of stuff. So don't get your hopes up. And that's just me trying to protect you. You'll find it's a lot easier to be a Palladium Books fan if you are somebody who does not get excited about stuff that's not released yet. It's okay to be excited, but don't expect it anytime soon. Yeah, they put out like maybe 2 books a year. So they usually try to aim for 7 or 8, but you can count on getting like 2 books a year and then a rifter or 2. Well, they used to do 4 rifters a year. I think now they're doing it annually though. I don't know how many they've released this year, how many they did last year. I don't really know, but it's just a good rule of thumb. Just guard your heart with that. They have plenty of old books though that you can go buy, and there's a lot of good ones. So, right here though, on the new incoming titles, they say Rift's Coalition Manhunters, A Secrets of the Coalition States Sourcebook, a secret division within the Coalition's Psi Battalion. The Coalition States Manhunters hunt not only the most dangerous spies and fugitives, but also their own. This elite force of psychics, killhounds, and soldiers are trained killing machines who follow orders without question and kill without hesitation. CS Manhunter Squads and Special Ops, Manhunter Killhound and Dogboy OCCs, CS Manhunter Psi Interrogator and Psi Enforcer, CS Manhunter Psi Healers, CS Slayers, and more. CS Manhunter Mind Melters, deadliest of them all. NPCs, adventure ideas, and more. This is expected to be 192 to 224 pages, and it'll retail at $27. So yeah. It is less combat and more investigation, but you can make it heavier combat if you want. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just the Palladium system. Kyle Osterberg says you can also look at it as a Rifts prequel. That makes sense. Yeah, that's kind of how I was looking at Chaos Earth. I don't have that yet either. But yeah. All right, coming creature feature, Beyond the Supernatural Sourcebook, Modern Horror Done Right. An adventure sourcebook that opens up and expands the world of Beyond the Supernatural with an array of creatures, mystery, suspense, adventures, and adventure ideas. There is a ton of new material and information useful to both game masters and players. A gallery of supernatural creatures, rules clarifications, errata, gem advice, and more. How to run modern horror and the supernatural. Lots of adventure ideas and new background info. 160 to 192 pages. Bestiary Volume 2. That's supposed to be 256 pages. You're supposed to get 70 to 100 more exotic creatures of Rifts North America. Updated and expanded descriptions and info for each. A map of every creature showing where it is found, easily adapted to any Palladium setting. I should get the first bestiary. I really should. Coming, Rifts Titan Robotics. It's a high-tech toy box presenting new types of armor, sleek power armor, giant robots, vehicles, and weapons sold by Titan Robotics. Titan Robotics is also the secret operation of Archie 3, and all part of his plans for the future. New giant robots, gear, and accessories. 30-plus power armors and robots, plus other equipment. New weapons, gear, vehicles, and more. Archie's secret kingdom and plans for the future. 160 to 192 pages. And then Psychic Scream, a Rift's Chaos Earth sourcebook. That's cool. 96 pages, roughly. Interesting. Nathan says, put my order in. Fingers crossed I get my hardcover of Rifts and maybe even Palladium Fantasy. Awesome. So which Rifts did you ask for? Did you ask for the Ultimate Edition or the First Edition? First Edition is the older rules. Not that it matters. I mean, it depends on what you would rather have. But yeah, I think the first one would be cool just as a collection item rather than using it, though, for me. Palladium Fantasy role-playing. Oh, so this is Explore the Palladium Megaverse. Talks about the Palladium Fantasy role-playing game. I'll read that just a second. I can't wait to find out what you got, Nathan. All right. A world of epic fantasy, incredible magic, and amazing beings included the shape-changing changeling, ferocious wolfen, monstrous melek, dragons, giants, trolls, dragons, and creatures that defy description. Players can create scores of human and inhuman characters. Combat is fast and fun. Magic is different. There is spellcasting wizardry. The wards of the Diabolist. The circles of the summoner, and the powers of druidism, plus the mind powers of the mind mage. Elemental magic, the enchantments of the alchemists, the blessings of the priest, the dark magic of the witch, and magic items and creatures galore. Source books define the world, offer new types of player characters, different player races and monsters, adventures and or adventure ideas. This line is currently Palladium's second best seller, behind Rifts and just edging out Heroes Unlimited. Then you have Ultimate Edition, then you have Heroes Unlimited, After the Bomb, Ninjas and Super Spies, Nightbane, Dead Rain, Splicers, and then they didn't mention it on here, but we'll just say Beyond the Supernatural. Ultimate Edition. Oh, good choice. Good choice. Kyle says the last quarterly Rifter was number 84 in fall of 2019. It has been on hiatus since then. The Rifter Annual is the first new issue since then, due this fall. Yeah, doesn't that come out this month? I think it comes out actually maybe it came out yesterday. I always said it Diabolist. Yeah, I don't know how to say it. It's such a hard word to say. Diabolist. Good choice, Nathan. The Ultimate Edition is a nice book. And now the Palladium open house announcement. This is the last thing. And then we can just talk and shoot the crap while I look at my new books, if you guys want. I don't know how much longer I'll go, but because I don't want to lose my voice. I got a game tomorrow. We got Pulp Cthulhu over on Twitch tomorrow. Or I'm sorry, Achtung Cthulhu. It's our last game using the Achtung Cthulhu rules, and we will go back to Pulp Cthulhu for next week, I think. All right, 2022 Palladium Open House. Rescheduled to April 22nd through the 24th. So that's 3 days in 2022. So my birthday is early April, so that's kind of cool. Could call it my birthday present and then just plan on quarantining myself out to my game room for a week after that to make sure I don't have COVID for my wife. First edition Rifts had more spells, different dragon races, and a monster creation table that aren't in RUE. Yeah. Rogue Scholar says, RUE is what I use now, but the old Rifts book is laid out better. Interesting. Yeah, I never owned the first one, but when I first played Heroes Unlimited, Rifts Ultimate Edition wasn't out yet, so we did have that at the table. Plus it has NPCs in the back. I wouldn't mind either, honestly. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so Palladium Open House. Gaming at the Palladium Books warehouse with the people who create the games you enjoy. There is nothing really quite like the Palladium Open House. An intimate setting and unprecedented access to 40-plus Palladium creators, writers, artists, editors, freelancers, and staff. Available to you for almost the entire event. Many of them. Kevin, Julius, Carl Gleba, Greg, I'm not going to try and say your last name, Carmen Belair, Brandon Ayton, Steve Dawes, Paul Herbert, Ian Herbert, Hendrik Harderach, James Brown, and many others. Running games or participating in events. The Palladium Open House is not a convention. It is a gathering of friends and gamers in a celebratory family reunion atmosphere. 3 days, 4 with VIP night, of gaming, fun, and laughter. We are told on a regular basis how the Palladium Open House is unlike any event they have ever attended. That's probably why we get gamers from across the globe, not just the USA and Canada, but from England, Germany, Spain, South America, and as far away as Australia. The 2022 Palladium Open House will be extra special because we will be celebrating Palladium's landmark 40th anniversary. That means we'll try to bring in even more guests and host more events than ever before. More details will follow, but below are the key points you need to know now. Space is limited. We can only safely accommodate 300 or so people at the Palladium warehouse, so admissions tickets are limited. Once we fill up, we will have to turn people away. We don't anticipate that, but it might happen based on initial excitement levels. We highly recommend ordering your admission tickets as soon as possible. Your credit card will be charged and funds withdrawn now to guarantee your place for the 22 Palladium Open House 40th Anniversary event. Refund details are presented in the more expansive online store description. VIP Thursday special, 1 p.m. doors open, and you get first crack at limited editions, original art, new products, specialty items, and to meet Palladium staff and creators. 6 p.m. dinner, 7 p.m. opening ceremonies, 8 p.m. the evening's games begin. Cost of VIP night is $117. Dinner is included. Limited to about 100 to 120 people. Note, VIP Thursday always sells out fast, so we offer around 60% of the tickets now and the remainder at a later date. VIP Thursday is $117. Weekend pass, which is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, is $60. If you want a day pass Friday or Saturday, that's $30 each day, and Sunday is $10. All major credit cards accepted. Order online or by phone or by mail. Send check or money order to Palladium Open House, 39074 Webb Court, Westland, Michigan, 481857606. Before I read the rest, let me see if anyone said anything. Rogue Scholar says, not a convention, but with convention admission prices. I kid. I mean, you're not wrong. It's basically just a Palladium-only convention. But, I mean, the idea is it's, again, they don't want it to be known as a convention because they want it to be like, hey, look, guys, we know how diehard you fans are. This is a gathering. It's, if any of you are ICP fans, it's basically like a gathering of the Juggalos, but it's a gathering of Palladium fans, right? That's what it is. And then you all go stay at the hotel, whichever, there's 2 of them, but usually you pair up with your friends that you know from the forums and stuff, and you can play some games. I've never been to an open house. I've just heard that people usually will stay at the same hotel with people, and they'll game pretty much all night. Sometimes they invite staffers back and things like that. Highlights: intimate setting unlike big conventions, family reunion and party atmosphere for the entire event. Join the fun and make memories to last a lifetime. Price of admission covers all RPG events, limited to only 300 attendees, may sell out. Inexpensive hotels minutes away, $50 to $130. I'm assuming that means per night. 15 minutes from Detroit Metropolitan Airport, near major highways. Yeah, you've got like multiple intersecting highways there. 3 days of gaming, 4 for those attending VIP night, plus panel talks and more. Many events run by the writers, artists, and creators who make the games. Saturday Live hosted auction, original art, out-of-print items, and oddities. Held at the Palladium warehouse and office where your favorite games are made. Typically, 30-plus Palladium creators are present to chat, sign books, sell prints, and original art. And for our 40th anniversary, we're expecting even more. Get original artwork, character sketches, books, t-shirts, and more. A Palladium open house only happens every 2 to 4 years, and our 40th anniversary only happens once in a lifetime. So please spread the word and start planning to join the fun. April 2022 for an incredible experience. So I'll be honest, I don't know how many more open houses they're going to have. I feel like the last one they had, there were talks of it possibly being the last one. So again, who knows how many more they're going to do, you know? So yeah, just throwing that out there. Not really trying to promote it necessarily, but I just want you guys to know that this could be one of their last ones. Nathan says, oh man, slaps face at comparison. Have you ever been to that convention that's not a convention? I haven't. I was supposed to go in the last one I think was like 2016, I think. So I didn't end up going though. I wanted to. I think it was 2016. Maybe it was 2018. I don't know. It was something like that. Maybe it was 2017. Beats me. Red Roof Inn in Plymouth, and then there's Comfort Inn in Plymouth. Red Roof Inn estimates $49.95 plus tax per night for a 2 double bedroom. Okay, Comfort Inn is where we stayed after our wedding, I think. That's $100 a night for a 2 queen bedroom. Uh, Indoor pool, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Anyways. So you guys kind of get the gist there. Good stuff. I need to put this checklist on top because I want to fill that out. Every time you get this checklist, you got to fill it out, guys. That's my rule for you. Rogue says, haven't been to one. Kyle says, they've been saying this could be the last one for the last 3. Yeah, Kevin's getting up there in age, I think. And I think he acknowledges that and feels it, you know. It's a lot of work to do it. And you're not working on products for 2 weeks. Around that time, you're getting ready for an open house and setting things up. And so it really damages your production schedule probably, or at least your productivity on it. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it is their last one. Why not go out with your 40th anniversary and make that your last one? You know? I wonder, though, how many more things do they have that they can just sell off from the past? Like old print runs and original art. Like, how much do they have left to sell? You know? I haven't been to one. That is sad if it's the last one. For sure. Kyle says, I've been to the last 2. So what do you think, Kyle? What is your experience with it? Do you enjoy it? It sounds cliche, but it was genuinely life-changing for me. Ooh, okay, now I got to know how. How was it life-changing? I'm not trying to pry. I'm curious. I love going to conventions. I really do. I love the idea of being around other gamers that are into the same things as me. The funny thing is, I'm sure I don't remember people's screen names to their face. So, or just remember screen names of people I've talked to for 20 years over on the forums. I don't go on the forums as much now. I used to go on a lot back in 2010 and 11. But I feel like I used to argue with people all the time on the forums. I really do. And for various reasons, because I'm a little bit of a devil's advocate. I'll play both sides of an argument sometimes. But yeah, I definitely didn't get along with everybody. That's for sure. I got along with them. Don't get me wrong, but I disagreed with a lot of people and I voiced my opinion. A lot of people didn't like my video. True diehard, lifelong Palladium fans didn't like my take on what I would do with the system. I would simplify it. I also wouldn't do percentile and D20. I would do one or the other. Well, I wouldn't do D20. Let's say that. I would do percentile, or I would do a multiple die resolution mechanic. Basically take take Savage Worlds a little bit, but completely tweak it and not have a wild die or any of the other weird stuff with that. So it would be, yeah, it would shift. It'd be an in-between kind of thing. That's what I would do. I don't know. I've got a lot of different system ideas, but just to try and keep the feel of Palladium, I would definitely change things up still. But I'd still have an active defense. I don't know if I'd do opposed rolls, but you would still have your reaction or whatever to do your parrying and dodging and stuff. Everyone is so friendly and you automatically have something in common. I have friends that I met there from all over the world. That sounds awesome, for sure. I bet it is. So I have friends I have bonded with online over Palladium Books. People I wouldn't say I'm necessarily close with, but I've at times been closer to. Jody from Questwise. So I consider him a friend. We haven't really talked in person, which sucks because we were supposed to meet at Grand Con of Fears back, and we didn't make it happen. I kept seeing him, and he was always in the middle of something, and we just never hung out, which is a bummer. Eric Bloat, love that guy. He's a big, Palladium fan. I know both of those guys went to the open house last time. Let's see, who else? AJ Pickett was a big Palladium Books fan. We played in games online together. I've gotten a lot of people into it who play in games online. Used to be friends with a guy named Sean Vigvari, who used to run some Rift stuff online. We played in some games. Yeah, so it's always fun. The games are all full of quality, experienced gamers, and everyone knows the rules in the system. So I'm not even going to pretend to know the rules in and out because I've been running my own light version of it for so long. I met Jody and Eric at the last one. Yeah, they're awesome guys. Awesome guys. Jody lives here in Michigan, so I live in West Michigan now. I used to live in the Ann Arbor area. In fact, I lived in Saline, Michigan during the last open house, so I was like 25 minutes away and I couldn't make it. It sucked. Really, really sucked. This guy, which is funny because we're about to play D&D. D&D is great. I love D&D. You can enjoy multiple game systems, for sure. I love a lot of systems. I really do. Cthulhu is good to go. Palladium. Oh, yeah. I love Palladium. Like I said, I've always had a soft spot for him. So I have, right now, Palladium Books takes up 2 cubes of my IKEA bookshelf. Two cubes. That's more than everything but D&D. So D&D 5e is a cube and a half, but then I have like a whole nother cube of like old D&D, which is like Beckme, 3.5, advanced. But yeah. I definitely do like Palladium. I would really love that. If I end up going, you all have to go. That's the rule. You have to be there. If I don't go, well, I'm sorry. I'd love to do the VIP night too. That would be really cool. I heard Kevin usually announces some fun stuff on that night. Or tells some really good stories. But yeah, you're basically talking about like $200 plus a hotel room. I don't know if I can. Right now I can't swing that. So I know I couldn't swing that right now. Who knows? 4 or 5 months from now? Maybe. Probably not. So money's kind of tight for us right now. But yeah, no, it's good. Oh man. So yeah. So now I really got to get back into Palladium Fantasy and do some videos on it. Again, I'm going to do specific book reviews for what I have. We will do flip throughs. We'll bring back flip through Friday of this. I've got this Friday. I have a Pathfinder. Actually, the next few Fridays I have Pathfinder flip throughs coming. So we're going to have those. So Mwangi Expanse this Friday. The Guns and Gears next Friday. Secrets of Magic the following Friday. I'm speaking with Sean Robertson November 15th, the creative director and the partner of Palladium Books. So he and I will be talking on stream the 15th. I got to create the, I got to set up the event into YouTube and put that up there. But yeah, it's going to be a good time. I'm really excited about it. Kevin, I think, might come on in January, maybe February, depending on what's going on. So with Sean, we'll probably talk about Savage Rifts, the revised version, Atlantis for Savage Rifts. We'll probably talk about Palladium Books in general, what him being the creative director means, what he's hoping to bring to the table. I have a lot of questions that I'm going to try and ask him, but I'm probably going to vet some of them beforehand because I don't know if he's going to want to answer all of them on stream or be put on the spot with some of them. But for the most part, I usually do a very casual, like, hey guys, this is what's going on. You guys can ask questions during the stream, but if you have questions ahead of time, you can message me on my Discord with your questions for Sean, and I will make a list, and we'll figure things out. We'll have some fun and see where Palladium Books is planning on going over the next couple years and what their hopes are and all that good stuff. Kyle says, I'm already going, so all right. Nathan says, most systems, I love them for their own reasons, but some of them have a weird dice rolling mechanic like Savage Worlds. It still has an awesome character creation system, though. So again, I like Savage Rifts in theory. I'm going to say it right now. Savage Worlds is not one of my favorite systems. I've got hundreds of dollars invested in it. It's the only system on my shelf that I kind of wish I didn't invest in, to be like to that level. I kind of wish I'd have bought like a couple books or like just the core and maybe the Savage Rifts core books, the original Kickstarter. But the things I don't like about Savage Worlds, I don't like the wild die. I don't like the poker chips. I don't like using a deck of cards for initiative. I don't like a deck of cards that give other boons. I just don't like that. I like edges, hindrances. I like how, in theory, your skill rolls work. Like, oh, I have a D8 in brawling, but I have a D6 in shooting a gun. It's probably better if I brawl now, or fight. I think it's fighting, or my accuracy is a D10, so I'm going to do that. Like, I like that. I really like that. I like exploding dice. I don't like exploding dice with wild die. Maybe if you did wild die or regular die and no exploding dice, maybe I'd like it more. But the idea that you're rolling two sets of numbers and trying to keep track of which one's higher, I don't like at all. That's what I don't like about it. Just too many little things. And I also don't like the wound system of Savage Worlds. I wish you had hit points or something like that instead of just the wound system. I just don't like it. I like toughness. I like how all of that stuff is. That makes sense to me. So I'm fine with that. Fantasy is a great starting point because it's a simpler system compared to Rifts. It's a good way to get your feet wet with the system overall. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I say just go in. It's all the same. Just dive into Rifts and just understand MDC to SDC. Like, just if you understand the concept, you can make it make perfect sense. To me, when I explain it, I say MDC is kind of like, imagine a tank. You can't run up and punch a tank until you eventually punch through it and it stops working. It won't happen. So you can't do MDC damage with your fist. And that's how I explain it to people. And the way I explain SDC compared to hit points is I say it's like your pain threshold. So SDC is basically, you can get smacked a bunch of times. You're not going to die from it necessarily. But if you get smacked enough times over the course of 24 hours to the point where it's blistering and bleeding and, you might get an infection or whatever, you could probably die from just being smacked over and over and over again. So that's kind of how I explain that. It's your pain threshold. I don't like that everything is poker themed. It would work for an Old West game, but feels awkward and out of place using it in modern or unrelated sci-fi games. Yeah, and it's because of Deadlands. That's why. But yeah, I agree. There are also hybrid games like Nightbane, Beyond the Supernatural. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but you got MDC, ranged combat, which is different than hand-to-hand. Missiles, which is different still. Yeah, maybe. So again, I wouldn't even sit here and try to tell you I know all the rules. Like, I know, like, when you go to shoot something, you're at a -10 to hit or something like that. Like, yeah, there's different rules for like burst shots and yeah. And to me, I do think Palladium is a little overly complicated with the mechanics. And I don't think it's necessary because, again, we're playing a game. I don't think it needs to simulate like everything you can do in real life. I would love a more simple version of it, personally. SDC, bumps and bruises, hit points, internal bleeding. 100%. Yep. Or even external bleeding. But yes, let's just say internal and external bleeding. Hit points, life-threatening injuries. SDC, nicks, bumps, scratches, bruises. And then MDC, plated armor, tanks, magical armor, magical force fields, shit like that. So I feel like, tell me if I'm wrong. I wasn't around in the 80s playing games. Early 90s, I wasn't either. I feel like Rifts was intended for MDC to be rare. Like, most things were not supposed to do MDC damage. And over the years, it got to a point where pretty much everybody does MDC damage. Like, everybody uses an MDC pistol. Like, if you're making a character and you don't have a way to do MDC damage, what are you doing? Like, why are you playing Rifts? You're just trying to die? Same thing with MDC armor. Almost everybody makes sure that they have MDC armor at this point. Ooh, interesting. Interesting. Sorry, guys. Replying to a Palladium fan. Awesome. Okay. Nathan says, Beyond the Supernatural sounds like right up my alley with the way you described it earlier. Interesting. Yeah, like I'm not into. So I know I enjoy Cthulhu, for example. I'm not into horror games. It's not my thing, really. I like action games. Not so much into the horror aspect because I don't get freaked out. So yeah, Beyond the Supernatural is one of those games where I'm just like, meh. Don't know if I'll ever care to get it. I might, but probably won't. If I did, it would just be to read it more than anything. Man, my book's already dirty. I think it's from the pencils. I'm pretty sure it's from the pencils in the box. What was I wanted to look at the one that I haven't read yet. Where is it? Here it is. It's underneath some books now. Garden of the Gods. Was going to do my unboxing video tonight, but it seems like everyone was in the office tonight. Yes, I peeked at my stuff too. You have to peek. Can you tell us what it is at least? I think Dead Rain looks like fun, but I've never played it. Yeah, I've never played it either. So I had the core book for a while. So it's different. It's the zombies feed off of PPE, I think, which in Palladium Books, everybody has potential psychic energy. Basically, that's like your life force, like your soul. And the zombies can see it. So zombies can't actually see, if I remember right, but they can see your PPE energy. And that's how they find you and chase you and all that. I actually think just playing a game of trying to survive using Dead Rain would be cool. Where you're just like, yeah, make a fort and try to survive as long as you can. Just get it to read it. Didn't put it on my list. Oh, gotcha. Kyle says, if you are getting a Christmas grab bag and request it, odds are you will. Is that one of the like books that you're almost guaranteed to get or something? I know there's some books that it's like if you ask for it, if it's on your list, you pretty much will get it. That's the answer to your comment question, by the way. Dead Rain is going on my grab bag list. Do it. It's not on mine right now, but maybe eventually I'll put it on there. They have it in hardcover. Dead Rain is the simplest Palladium game. No magic, no psionics, no MDC. Yeah, I usually don't even allow magic or psionics in my heroes games. But I don't think having magic points or psionic points makes the game any harder, though. So I wouldn't say it makes it more complicated. Do you think it does? Because like magic and Palladium Fantasy never seemed to be like a big problem. Here's Unlimited in the GM guide. Fantasy and Monsters and Animals. Ooh, so you got the core book and the GM guide. You got Palladium Fantasy and Monsters. So you got 2 systems worth of books right there. Did you get any hardcovers? And what were your knickknacks? Like your smaller trinket stuff? You said you're going to order another one, right? Into the Garden of the Gods. They're usually pretty good about giving you core books if you request them. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, they're good about giving you like the core books you would need to run the game, at least. Had them all signed. No pencils or notepad. Gotcha. So did you just get the 4 books and then they're signed? Did Sean sign them too? How many people signed them? I feel like I should have asked for the Palladium Fantasy to be signed. All softcover. Gotcha. I feel like I should have asked for Palladium Fantasy to be signed by Kevin at least. That would have been cool. But I didn't think about it. Maybe I'll ask next time, or if I go to the open house, I'll ask him to sign it. I just don't want to slow down the delivery or slow them down with, signing a bunch of books personally, but I think it's cool that they do that. Where is the Garden of the Gods? Is it up there in like the northern hinterlands area, like between the hinterlands and the Land of the Damned? Is that where it's at? I don't remember. I feel like I remember seeing it mentioned somewhere. But I don't know. What is this? Roll percentile dice for random determination of where God-inspired dream, vision, visitation, inspiration, or rumor might send a player character or adventure group. Or just pick what best fits the game and the players. Oh, wow. Okay. That's interesting. So one thing I wish about Palladium Fantasy is I wish they made all the books to the revised edition before. Like Yinsloth Jungles, for example. Like that one, and Island at the Edge of the World. I wish both of those were done to the second. It's near Lopan. So Phi and Lopan are the islands in between the middle of Fantasy Palladium, the land of Palladium or whatever. They're the little islands in the middle. About 4 or 5. I'm not sure if Sean signed it. Kevin signed one twice. Send it back to Kevin. Kevin, you signed this twice. Is it worth twice as much now? That's awesome. Oh, if you guys are doing grab bags, tell them that I sent you. Tell them that you saw my video and it inspired you. If it did. If it didn't, you don't have to say it. But if you did see it or did decide to do it because of my videos, let them know. Let me know if you bought, how many you bought because of me. I always find that interesting if my videos inspire you guys. Evil exists in the garden. Rewards from the gods. Curses. Ooh, excuse me. Random curse table. There's a lot of tables in these books, guys. If you like tables and you want to use it for other games, you could. A Legend of Lopan. The truth behind the legend. That's cool. Oh, this guy looks awesome. Sir Amar Lellenbach. Look at his sword. Is that cool? That guy's cool. Rogue says, Island at the Edge of the World was amazing to play through. The rowdy, drunken bearmen became an inside joke with our group for more than a decade. So I've never played through it. I read it. Obviously, the stuff about the changelings and stuff was good. Was really good. Ooh, who is this guy? Sir Ikago Idav, human secondary vampire. This armor looks sweet. If I killed this guy, I don't care if the armor is better or worse than what I got. I want that armor. I don't care if it's cursed. I want the armor on my character. I like fighter style characters. So he's a 6th level knight. Let's see if it mentions his armor. He's 407 years old. Whew. Fights tooth and claw. May use a weapon, magic, or psionics. The axe. Oh, that massive axe of Niravi, a magic weapon conjured by the elves during the Elf-Dwarf War, and is a family heirloom. How his family got possession of this weapon is a matter of questionable circumstance, and is part of the family's secret and seldom spoken of history. It turns into a flaming axe upon command, 5 times per day for up to 10 minutes, 40 melee rounds at a time. It delivers 46 damage and returns when thrown when not aflame, and 66 damage and returns when thrown when covered in magic fire. That is a sick weapon. I love it. Silver-plated bastard sword, kobold quality. One-handed even before he had supernatural strength. He won in combat from a Coil war chief. He also has a matching pair of pearl-handled knives. Full plate armor is a blue-gray color with blue accents that resembles that of the Knights Fasar. AR-17, 133 SDC, remaining the show and shows signs of wear and combat. Though he doesn't need to wear armor as a vampire, he still likes to do so, as he believes it is befitting of his stature as a knight. That's a cool character. Nathan says, I certainly did because I've been wanting more, just haven't committed yet. Well, now it's time to commit. Now I'm in for life, I suppose. Uncurse it. Kyle says, if you don't mind getting it late, they usually extend grab eggs after Christmas to January 15th. Yep, I think every year they do. I can't think of a time they haven't. Indigo says, I'm late. Didn't know this was on. Yes, Indigo, thank you for joining, buddy. I went through all the stuff earlier. I can quickly tell you what I got. I'm not going to go through it again. I'm currently looking at one of the books I got, which was number 2 on my list, Garden of the Gods. Number 1 on my list was the Palladium Fantasy hardcover that I got. So I'm pretty happy about that. I did get Mutants Down Under, and I got Juicer Uprising. So those are the 4 books I got. I got a Riffs notepad and 5 pencils. So, yeah. Nathan says, got one coming already. If it's really good, I might order another. Sounds good. What was on your list, Nathan? Kyle says, I saw one YouTuber order 5 one year and did 5 unboxing videos. Yeah, I've done a few in the past. In fact, I think you can go back and watch one of my unboxings where I got the original Palladium Fantasy book. Not the original, but the 2nd edition softcover. So yeah, I saw one YouTuber, saw that. Questing Jim, am I more likely to get multiple core books or one core book with other books from the line? So you're usually going to get a variety. You'll get probably 1 or 2 books that were in your list if you only give the minimum of 12 to 15 titles. If you say that you only want a specific line of books, there's a good chance you'll only get that specific line. So, for example, if you wanted riffs, just say, I'd love the core book because I do not have it, and books to go along with it. You'll probably get one of the setting books. You'll probably get the GM's guide, and you'll probably get the core book. So you'll get like 4 books. Same thing with like fantasy. If you say fantasy, like up above, you'll get the core book, the Monsters and Animals, which is like a monster manual. And then you'll probably get a location book and something else. That's probably what you'll get. But yeah, and being overseas, maybe if you mention, hey, I'm over, well, they'll know that you're overseas, but even if you mention in the thing, like, hey, I'm overseas, would love to get books pertaining to this game line, you might get more for that. Now, there's not a ton of Heroes Unlimited books, for example. So you're not going to just get Heroes Unlimited books, because if you did just get Heroes Unlimited books, you basically get every book in their game line. Like, there's the 3 Powers Unlimited, the core rule book, the GM's guide, and then there's like 4 setting books. There's Aliens Unlimited, Villains Unlimited, the Galaxy Guide, and I think that's it. Oh, and then there's Armageddon Unlimited. So they're not going to just, yeah, here you go. You know what I mean? So yeah. If you only want core rule books, maybe they'll only give you core. The thing about it is you can run things with the core books. Now, unlike other games, it doesn't tell you how to set up encounters. There's no CR system. Some of these books don't even give you NPCs or NPC stat blocks. So, like, you might get a core rulebook and have to make your own stat blocks of NPCs and villains and monsters yourself. Once you get the hang of the system, though, it's easy, but you're going to want to... It is a learning curve for people new to the system. Nathan says, Rift's Ultimate hardcover, Palladium Fantasy hardcover, The Rifters, Ninjas and Super Spies, After the Bomb, Rift's Chaos Earth, Creatures of Chaos. Oh, okay. Nice selection. That'd be cool if you get a bunch of those. Indigo says, I'm going to go for primarily Nightbane with my first grab bag. There you go. Nightbane, Rift's Game Master Guide, Rift's Book of Magic, Rift's Adventure Guide. Lots of Rifts because I love the lore so much. There you go. Rogue Scholar says, if you like sci-fi, I also suggest Phase World. Yeah, they got some sci-fi and space stuff too. Looking to get Powers Unlimited books at least, maybe Gods and Dragons. I think it's Dragons and Gods. Yeah, Dragons and Gods. But yeah, awesome. Nathan says, I like sci-fi, but from my experience playing sci-fi RPGs, it just doesn't play very well. Yeah, it can be tough. Dragons and Gods is good because it's both fantasy and riffs oriented. So correct me if I'm wrong. I can't look because I don't have the book anymore. Dragons and Gods, is that the one that actually does have the stat blocks for the old ones? I think it has the old ones in it. Rifters usually have source material for multiple lines. They do. So I'm very selective about Rifters, though, because I've gotten Rifters before that I was not into at all. There was nothing in it I was going to use, unfortunately. So I'm very selective about what I look for. There's a list on the forums with every single article they've ever written. They put them in order by game line. So if you really like fantasy, for example, or heroes, you can go and look under Heroes Unlimited, all the Rifters that have ever had an article about it, and it'll tell you what the articles were. And I've used that to make decisions a lot, like almost every time. I don't have it over here with me, but I had a printout of that I used for a long time. Ancient Order of the Fossarians. This is a fun book. Search for the Lost Titan. Fossarian Warden. The Lost Gods. I have both of the old ones books. I have the first edition and the second edition, but I don't remember if that's where the old one stat blocks are or if they were in Dragons and Gods. They might even be in one of the Rifter, like not the Rifters, but in one of the Rifts books with monsters in it. Like maybe even the conversion guide or something. I know I've seen stat blocks for old ones. I think there might be one in the old ones book. I'd have to double check. Indigo says, wouldn't the Palladium Fantasy Old Ones book have the old ones in it? So, again, I don't think it does. Again, I could be wrong. I'll double check. Just give me 1 second. I'll go grab both of them and look. The original one has an adventure in the end that the new one doesn't have, I think. There's a lot of cool stuff I plan on using in this book for some of my homebrew games, I think. Oh, that altar's cool. A statue of like a woodsman, an axeman. I do love the art. I've always loved their art. And this style art, like this, where it's more like shaded and grayscale like that, this is my preferred style of art when it's in black and white. I really dig it. I tend to like that like styling more than this styling. However, I like how this piece looks more. You know, I don't know if it's because of the styling I like this piece. So maybe I do prefer this style, but I feel like I like the grayscale more. Yeah, like this is really cool too. That's nice art. Blade Maiden Edeza. The Forgotten Dragons of Dragonrite. Lazari. Neoslad. Oh, this guy looks like a tiger. Enclu the tiger. He almost looks like a pumpkin because of the bird on his head. It almost looks like the stem of a pumpkin. But yeah. Let's see. Nathan says, I don't know. I think it's going to be good regardless. Rogue Scholar says, I can't recall. Nathan says, I'm going to spend like 8 hours reading. LOL. Kyle says, they aren't in the conversion book. Rift's Africa has the stats for one of the old ones. Ah, okay. So that's the other thing. So there's one of the old gods whose like body is spread out throughout all of the Megaverse and like body parts. And like there's a piece of it in Madhaven, which is one of the Rifts books I want. There's like a piece of it, like there's pieces all over like the world and the Palladium world and Rifts. And it's kind of funny. I would love to, if somebody has a compilation list of all of it. I know somebody ran a campaign in it back when I used to go on Obsidian Portal, and I used to follow his write-ups. I think his name was Victor. But he used to write about it, and then I think he started streaming his games on YouTube. They actually invited me to join their game like 5 years ago. but I did not have availability during the day, and that was when they ran their game. Serpent Lord. That's cool. I love it. This is a nice book. Garden of the Gods. I don't think Dragons and Gods has the old ones stats, but I'd have to double check. I don't recall them being there, though. Nathan says, so multiple books for the old ones. Yeah. Aren't there God stats in Conversion Book 2 or Dark Conversion? Oh, maybe it's in Dark Conversion. I'll grab that because I have that over there. I don't remember, but I know they aren't in Conversion Book 1. All right, I'll be right back. I'll grab it and find out. Give me just a minute. Grabbing old ones. And then Dark Conversions. All right, I got the 3 that we were just talking about that I have. I don't have Dragons and Gods. So here's Rift's Dark Conversions right here. It says on the back here, the focus of Dark Conversions is on creatures of darkness and other monsters such as alien intelligences. So that right there, I think, tells you, because old ones are alien intelligences. Elementals, werebeasts, vampires, weird supernatural beings, elementals, the Nightbane, and others. If you are looking for practitioners of dark magic, villains, monsters, and vile horrors to pit against your heroes, this is the source book for you. Many creatures also have notes on how they fit into the Rift's Earth setting and where they may be encountered. 130 monsters statted out and described for your inclusion in Rift's Chaos Earth, Phase World, or any mega damage setting. Werebeasts, gremlins, gargoyles, and spirits. Undead legions, demon and devil hordes from the world of Palladium Fantasy. Conversions for the Nightbane and the Night Lords and their minions. Alien intelligence creation rules and tables. Elemental beings of lesser and greater stature. Entities and monsters from beyond the supernatural. Dark magic, witches, shifters, diabolists, summoners. 192 pages. This book is great. I love this book. It has my favorite monster in it. It's like a parasite thing. I'm looking specifically for an old one. I don't know their names though. I know sometimes they have names. Okay, so alien intelligence is on page 7. The very first thing you see is what one of the old ones would look like. Wormwood is one I definitely want to get. It was on my list. When it comes to Rifts, I'm interested in Madhaven, Wormwood, Chaos Earth. Those are the 3 at the top of my list. I'd probably put Chaos Earth at the top with Wormwood. Because Madhaven would be fine, because I want to play in like the New York area, and I really want to figure out where that body part is, and probably play that up someday. Now, if I could only convince my friends to play. Nathan, we've got people on our Discord that like Rifts. I've got a few of them. What does it say here? Does it say that these are basically the old ones? Godlike power, live millions of years and look nothing like humans. Force evil ones know nothing about compassion or regret. Stratable physical, spiritual, blah, 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 blah. Process of fragmentation and dimensional travel must be vaguely like the ability of psychic humans. Project them. Okay. I'm just looking for the keyword of an old one. I need worshippers. Instead, many of these mega powerful gods seek portals to other worlds or treasure. Matter of ego and power to control and dominate other life forms. But even these so-called gods of light are often caught up in a running game or contest with the forces of evil, a never-ending battle. So it just tells you how to create them. It does not say that they are old ones. But oh, here we go. The Palladium Fantasy RPG and its sourcebook, Dragons and Gods and Beyond the Supernatural, all offer some additional godlings, monsters, and aspects for gods. All fairly easy to convert. Likewise, game masters should be able to adapt beings from myth using some of those. They can also be used as a basis to designing specific mythical gods. It doesn't say specifically. Oh, here we go. Old ones. Page 10 of Dark Conversions. Boom. There you go, guys. Old ones. Right here. However, no stat block. The old ones are believed to be an extinct race of mega powerful alien intelligences indigenous to the Palladium world in another dimension. Whether their influence ever extended beyond the Palladium realm is uncertain. The Great Old Ones ruled during the Age of Chaos, long before the dawn of man on the planet. Legend states that the Old Ones were powerful beyond imagination and have been credited as the originators of all magic, and the creators of many, many races, including elves, dwarves, changelings, and many others, hundreds of which perished during the Age of Chaos and the battle to defeat the Old Ones. Yeah, and then it gives you the hierarchy of the Old Ones. So Xi, XY, the Great Old One, symbol of power incarnate. Agu, symbol of life, birth, and rebirth. Alvil, symbol of envy and jealousy. Urva, symbol of darkness and death. Netosa, symbol of eternal suffering, despair, and the undead. Tarm Kinto, symbol of hatred, treachery, vengeance, and pain. Yaek Met, symbol of power and light. Yablik, symbol of pestilence, betrayal, and pain. So it's right here in the front of Dark Conversions. I did a flip through on this so you guys can see everything in this book if you're interested. If you want to go back and just look up Dark Conversions, Rift's Dark Conversions, you should be able to find it pretty quickly. And check it out. I'm going to show you guys my favorite monster. Hopefully I find it pretty quickly. Here we go. Here it is. First of all, it is called... They're called the Thin Ones. And they look like this. They basically get into your blood and kill you. They're like parasites. So yeah. That's a great book. I highly recommend it. Dark Conversions is a great book. Great book. I feel like I missed a bunch of stuff, so let me scroll up real quick. Plus, most of them have only played D&D. Sad. Double lame. Tell your friends to step up and try a real gamer's game. Hey, don't say that. I like D&D. We can like it all. Come on. There's enough games. Most of them don't want to learn a new system. I don't know. Well, do what I did. Do pre-gens. I'll send you what I have, Nathan, after this. I'll send you the Google Drive. Questing GM, if one could not get others to try the system, which books would you recommend for its lore setting that can be easily adapted to other systems? So first of all, Questing GM, you have to tell me what you're hoping for. So the system itself can be played with all sorts of genres, whether it's fantasy, heroes, future, present, past, whatever you want to play. And that can help guide you in what to recommend. If you want something you can get a lot of use out of because you play like Pathfinder or Dungeons and Dragons, then go and grab the Palladium Fantasy. As a secondary thing, like was already mentioned before, Wormwood is a good one that you could pick up. That is sci-fi meets fantasy. And it's its own setting, like its own world, I think, or its own dimension. If you want superheroes, Heroes Unlimited is great. I've never played like Mutants and Masterminds. However, Heroes Unlimited has been able to do what I've wanted in superheroes. That's not for lore, though. That's if you want a superhero game. For lore, again, I would say fantasy. I would probably say the Rift's core rulebook. When it comes to... I think Chaos Earth, if you are interested in reading about the end of the world a little more. So Rifts takes place on Earth. It's like 400, 500, 600 years in the future. I can't remember exactly. Chaos Earth is the start of it, but it's still like 200 years in the future. So it's as civilization falls and how it falls and why it falls. So there's some good lore in those books. If you want inspiration for monsters, though, just buy some monster books. They got Rift's Bestiary, Dark Conversions, which is great. You can get Monsters and Animals. There's not going to be a ton of lore in some of those. So it's something to kind of keep in mind. But yeah. But the fantasy books. So their fantasy books are set up by their regions. So Old Ones right here. I'll read the back of what Old Ones is. Doesn't say the region. I feel like this is like the southern, like almost in the south region of their world. Yeah, Timuro Kingdom area is where this is. So the different cities: Old Timuro, Rankin, Smia, Tanis, Tomorrow, Credia, the capital city, Aracho, Akor, Asarak. List of towns, forts, maps of the Timuro Kingdom, city maps, adventure maps. You got a picture of the old one. So I think the idea is that inside the mountain there is like one of the old ones buried there. Still alive, but like asleep. And they're massive. Like these things are like the size of mountains too. So they're like underground. But yeah, so this has some interesting stuff. So here's the map of the Timuro Kingdom. So yeah, I would definitely say the fantasy books and just any of those. I would recommend getting a core book for Rifts, the Ultimate Edition, because it has good lore in it for the whole world. It has a little bit about everything. And so if you're into the lore, definitely think that'll be a good one for you. And at least you'll get an idea for what Rifts is. Rifts is, honestly, it's an iconic game. It's been around for 30 years, and people still talk about it today. The system does get some flack at times from people, but it's a game that I think everybody should at least experience once, you know? Just my take. Okay, cool. Adventure of the Hidden Temple in the back here. Adventure scenario. And I think this is what leads down to one of the old ones. Monument of Stone, Forest of Enchantment. Secret Complex of the Old Ones. Oh, I like this. Mystic Spiders, Winged Serpentmen, the Monster Toad. Curse of the Eternity Sword. Oh, that's a cool name. That's a really cool name. Place of Magic, Town of Winthrop. Actually, I do want to see what it says. Okay. I'm going to read this last section from the complex of the old ones. A note about the old ones. Whatever else may have been connected to this tiny part of a much larger complex is forever lost. The entire mountain literally collapsed in on the rest of it. Excavation is impossible. Whether an old one may slumber somewhere beneath this place is unknown, but unlikely. No other secrets of the old ones remain in this complex, but the player characters should feel privileged because they are but a tiny handful of people who have ever glimpsed even a fragment of the old one's ancient domains and power. I may have ruined that for you guys. I'm sorry. I like it. Yeah, so you don't get old one stat blocks in here. Because I don't think they want you to come across them. The old one. Okay, let's see. It looks like this crazy worm-looking, I don't know, creature with multiple eyes. He's sleeping there. Very cool. Oh, they do have some information. So I guess they don't give you stat blocks, though. You do not get stat blocks for them. And notes for old ones. By now, you've at least skimmed through the book. You'll note that the second edition keeps all the basic information material of the original book with old material cleaned up, system adjustments smoothly integrated, new artwork, and new material added to it. All this makes second edition more exciting. Game Master and players should try to take advantage of the vast amount of material presented in this giant adventure book. In addition to the half-dozen adventures, Old Ones presents the entire Timuro Kingdom with over 50 cities, towns, and forts. Each and every one is a potential place for adventure. All of these things are potential elements for adventures and subplots. Take advantage of them. The communities have been deliberately left vague enough to give the GM and players something to work with, but at the same time leaving a lot of latitude to customize, yada, yada, yada. So there we go. And so, yeah, and then this one was the first edition of it. The first edition isn't as nice. I think there's like some weird layout stuff. For me, this is a hard book to read, the first edition of it. The second edition is definitely cleaned up, looks a lot nicer. I don't know why, but this just is hard for me to read this. I don't know if you guys can see it real well. I'm glad I have this book. It's kind of nice to be able to look at it, but it just doesn't work for me that well. The maps have not really been upgraded from the old to the new, but you're not really, you can use the maps, but they're not necessary. All right. O'Neill Flynn says, Dark Conversions sound interesting. Yes, it's a great book. Kyle says, I think you need to work on them. Nathan says, yeah, man, I tried with other systems and it ended up just dying after character creation. You have to do what I do and schedule things as a consistent schedule rather than saying, oh, we'll play once a month. Say, we're going to play every fourth week. Works great for me. Highly recommend it. Games don't fizzle out as much. Or say, we'll play every other week or every fourth week. That is amazing for me. Questing GM says, or more system agnostic, fluffier books with less crunch ratio. So all the systems are the same pretty much. So you're going to get the same amount of crunch in all of them. If you're not too worried about the crunch, though, don't worry about that and just read them for the lore. I would stick to fantasy and riffs. You'll get a lot of lore in most of those books. And in fact, I would probably even mention in your order that you're looking for lore books rather than rules books. Like, the rules are fine, but you're probably just going to read them and not necessarily play. That's what I would probably do. And maybe you'll get some stuff. Maybe you'll even get some of the novels. I know they have some novels they sell. Kyle says, it's possible it took me 10 years to convince my D&D group to try Palladium Books games, but they finally did. What do they think of it, Kyle, after it took them 10 years? They still play it? Indigo says, the one thing about Palladium's games about lore is it depends on the game. Rifts and Palladium Fantasy has the most scattered lore, but Nightbane and Dead Rain are a lot more focused. True. So if you like zombies, go with Dead Rain. If you like Shadowrun, if you like symbiont relationships with characters, so like think Venom from Spider-Man, stuff like that, then you might like Nightbane. Used to be called Nightspawn. Kyle says, use pre-gens, it helps. 100% agree. Nathan says, reading the lore on Rifts, I freaking loved it. Made complete sense to me. For sure. We had 2 long-running TMNT campaigns. Yeah, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was what I've used mostly to get people into it. What genre mostly interests you? Yep, exactly what I was wondering. You mentioned something earlier about TMNT being on eBay. Yeah, you can get it for over $50 there. Or Kevin Eastman on his website, according to O'Neill Flynn, you can get it for $45, probably in much better condition if you go to Kevin Eastman's website and buy directly from him. So my favorite monster is the thin ones in Dark Conversions. They're like a parasite that get into your blood. I think those are my favorite monsters. I've never used them though. Start them with Dead Rain. Everyone can understand the concept of a zombie apocalypse. That's true too. Give them pre-gens. They don't have to be anything elaborate. 30 SDC, 6 hit points. Give them each their own type of weapon and backpack full of themed gear around what you want them to be kind of like. Like maybe you have a jock from football or a jock that carries a baseball bat or a hockey stick. Maybe you got a truck driver with a shotgun. And then his backpack, he's got like a 6-pack of soda or something, or a 6-pack of beer. Like, just make it fun, thematic items in their pack. That'd be a good game for that, though. And have them all meet up in like one safe house that they've all kind of settled at together. Rogue says, if they are 5e players, they aren't going to like a game where your character is actually in jeopardy and might die. I don't agree with that. The revised Vampire Kingdoms book has great lore. Questing GM, I like the premise for fantasy, riffs, heroes, and supernatural. So if you want superhero lore, Century Station is like a city in their, it's like their setting, it's like their main city, it's like Metropolis or Gotham City. High-tech, like, not necessarily super futuristic city, but it's a high technology city. Like imagine Silicon Valley in California, something like that, maybe a little bit further advanced. You got like some superheroes that work with the police. You have different types of heroes and villains in the city that are all in the book, different adventures, different random roll tables. So if you want something like that, highly recommend the Century Station book, and I highly recommend Gramercy Island. Gramercy Island is an island off of it, which is like their Alcatraz, like their prison, where they keep superheroes or supervillains. So yeah, if you want superhero lore, those two books are the best books for that. You might like Aliens Unlimited if you want some alien technology or alien lore for some games. So yeah, that's what I would recommend. You know, I've never read my Nightbane book. I've never read it. I've just looked at it and never ran it. Never read it or ran it. Dead Rain, Zombie Apocalypse, Nightbane is Super's Horror, After the Bomb is TMNT, reprinted, and Post-Apocalyptic Mutants. Yes, After the Bomb is also its own setting. Like, I think it's Australia, with only mutant animal characters. No other humans, I think. Most people I'd played with started with 3E, so they are used to death. Indigo says, Beyond the Supernatural is modern-day paranormal supernatural. Any favorite region in fantasy? So it's going to depend on what you like. My favorite region is the Eastern Empire, the hinterlands, Northern Wilderness and hinterlands. I like the Timuro Kingdom. I like Mount Nimro. Yinsloth Jungles has some interesting stuff in it. This Dragons and Gods book is interesting. The other book, so the one Palladium Fantasy book that I think is absolutely amazing, one of my favorites, is Library of Blethrad. It's about a library that I believe minotaurs are like the keepers of it, and they like protect it and stuff like that and protect its contents. And there's like magical items in this library in the basement. There's a lot of lore in that book about the whole world. So if you get the core book, you're going to get lore about all the regions, just a little bit. And then you'll then want to get other stuff. But I think the Library of Blethrad is a fantastic book. It's one of my favorites. Recon is Vietnam military. It also uses its own system. Yeah, how different is that from the Palladium system? I've never seen that book. Ninjas and Super Spies is espionage and martial arts. Great supplement game for TMNT and HU. Yeah, I only use it for its martial arts stuff. Never used it for the tech. Rogue Scholar says, I always forget about Recon. They don't really promote Recon that much anymore. There's the yawn. It's hard for us to read too with the lighting. Oh, sorry. Indigo says all Palladium's games that don't use MDC are basically 98% compatible with each other. I mean, I feel like they're all 100% compatible with each other with such minor differences. Because, I mean, even between the Rifts books alone, there's differences, unfortunately. As long as you get the basics of the system down and you understand, like a normal human probably starts off around like 20 to 30 SDC, and you've got like the basics covered, you can run any game, you know? Simplify the actions too. Give every like character 3 actions in a round, and you're good. Except Recon. Recon is really its own unique setting, or own unique thing. Yeah, see, I've never touched it, so I don't know anything about it. But yeah. So yeah, that was our unboxing and stuff. I know we went into just talking, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys like me doing these streams where we just hang out and talk about my games and books, I'd love to do more. And honestly, Questing GM, if you message me like certain things you'd like to see about Palladium, because obviously you're a new person, you don't own any Palladium, you are the ideal person to give me ideas for what you would like to see covered, because I am more than happy to talk about some of these books more. Maybe it's reviewing specific books like I'm going to do. I'm planning on starting with Palladium Fantasy and doing the individual books. I'm going to start with the core book and then just go through some of the settings. And I don't have all of them anymore, but and so I won't review something I don't physically own, but eventually I will get around to it. It just might be really far down the line, down the road. But yeah, would love to help you if you're interested in getting more into it. And we have a ton of people on our Discord that are always looking for games. Off the top of my head, I want to say there's like 4 or 5 people that are, looking for Palladium Books games to play. So yeah, if you're interested. And I know we have other people who are interested in old school style games, which this is based off of old school D&D. This came out in the 80s. This book, the original old ones, says copyright 1984. So I don't know when this was printed, but they were in Taylor at the time. Now they're up in Westland. So Taylor's like 10 minutes away from where they're at now. But yeah, so this was in the 80s, I think. So on the back, it says 1984, Kevin Siembieda. The cover, Kevin Siembieda, 1984. So you don't get more old school than 1984. And the system has changed, but not too much. So you should be able to find some players. It's not as simple as some of the old school D&D. I'm just going to tell you that now. It's definitely got some more things to it if you're new to it. But it's not that bad. And if you want to watch like a one shot I've done or possibly playing one sometime, we can definitely work you into that. Nathan says, so I do have a question. Out of all the Palladium books you all have played, what's your favorite? Heroes Unlimited is my favorite, but that's what got me into RPGs. I love Palladium Fantasy. That's my game line of choice, probably behind that when it comes to Palladium. Rifts is not my top at all, not even close. I would rather play Heroes Unlimited as a player 8 out of 10 times, and then Rifts the other 2 times, if I had to compare the two. With Palladium Fantasy, because it's so adaptable with Hero. In fact, you could make a Heroes Unlimited character, and I know people have done this, and then taken that Heroes Unlimited character to Palladium Fantasy. Whether through a rift when they ended up in Palladium Fantasy or whatever, but you can do some cool stuff with that. I always thought that would be fun. But yeah, I like Palladium Fantasy a ton. I really like the east side of it and the north the most. And then partly when you come down to the south, part of it. The island at the edge of the world is interesting from a lore perspective. I haven't read it in probably 9 years, 8 years. I remember enjoying it. Almost every Palladium Fantasy book I read, I enjoyed. Rogue says, all right, got to split. It's bedtime. Yeah, I hear you. I gotta get off here too. Questing Jim says a flip through talk stream of every book you have is already awesome by itself. So I have flip throughs. of Palladium Books. So if you go to my channel and just look up Palladium Books in the search, you'll get a bunch of stuff. If you look through my flip through playlist, you'll see a bunch of stuff. Would love if you checked those out. Would love it. And if you end up ordering stuff, let me know what you got, And if you order something from them, let them know that I sent you. Let them know where the traffic's coming from. And if you're watching this Palladium and you want to sponsor future videos or something, reach out. I'm always open for some sponsorships as well. My favorite of the ones I played, Heroes Unlimited Core with TMNT and Ninjas and Super Spies for martial arts options. So yes, so I love TMNT as well. Again, hand waving the rules works well for me. Ignoring the rules most of the time has led to some really good experiences for most people. Everyone I've ever played with has told me they had fun. Well, for the most part. When I first started running Palladium in person, I did struggle a little. And I think things were too open-ended at times. But I was learning. Mechanoids 81, Palladium Fantasy 83, Heroes Unlimited 84, TMNT 85, Robotech 86, Beyond the Supernatural 87, Rifts 1990, Nightbane 95, Systems Failure 99, Splicers 2004, Dead Rain 2008. Cool, will do for all of the above. Awesome, buddy. By the way, I love your logo. Somebody who made that for you must have been really, really nice. I'm just kidding, man. Oh, I love it. So yeah, this was a good grab bag. I'm pretty happy. I'm not sure if I'll do another one. I might this year, might not. I really wish they had PayPal associated with their store. They don't. You have to use your credit card, bank account, whatever. I'd rather use my PayPal. That's how I usually order stuff. It helps me keep things separate from my personal funds with my wife. And it always works out really well that way. So, yeah. But anyways, I am going to go. Thank you guys for watching. Again, send your questions to me on Discord. You can private message me on Twitter. All my links are below. You can message me variety of places. All that good stuff. Best logo in the world. You're welcome. Thank you guys for watching. This was Master the Game. I am Juice. Game on.